was a painful game.
If you want to, we can go over the tiers.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, why don't you go over the tiers and maybe a little bit of the thought process and then...
Yeah, well, let's do our intro first.
All right.
Holy shit!
My name's Joel. Played Dota casually. Not the best player for sure. Game sense high. Caring low. And definitely have more wins than losses though, for sure. Maybe I'm getting carried. But we're in the 78th percentile. So nothing crazy, but definitely more than your average AD player. Right.
I would agree with that.
We'll go to Harrison.
I'm Harrison.
Also, I do play only support basically in AD.
I mean, another thing is swapping. You know,
Yeah.
swap. You're the one that swaps the gyro to Sean.
Swap.
Yep.
But I guess we'll get there. Yeah, I'm Harrison. I don't even know percentile, but lower than Sean, higher than Joel.
95, I think.
Rank 601 in North America. Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I play any role really. I keep getting forced middle, and I'm pretty bad at mid. So that's just how the cookie crumbles. Though I don't know.
I'm Sean. I mainly play pause 1 for our stack
What's the number up there?
most of the time. Currently top 100 in America
Oh.
on ability draft. Also an immortal ranked player.
That counts for something.
A ranked enjoyer.
Me and Harrison do not play ranked.
That is true.
Ever.
I don't just strictly play AD, but I'll play AD only in the stack environment with usually the 3 stack or 4 stack.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Shoutouts to Bennett.
Yep. Bennett is our 4th sometimes.
Yep. I don't know. We throw him on any role too.
Yeah, he'll play.
And his
any
rank's
role.
shit in AD, so we won't even talk about that. But let's get into what we're gonna do today, fellas. So today we're gonna be kicking off what is maybe gonna be more content in the future. And a good baseline for ability draft content is a tier list because they're generic and they're easy, and they kind of give you a baseline that will inform all the rest of the content, like where we're coming from. So we've broken down the tiers into 6 different tiers, but we can debate a little bit.
This was a hard process to begin with.
Joel, you protested my initial reasoning behind my tiers, but
I think this is good.
you're more than welcome to provide feedback. I have griefing / earth spirit abilities kind of as a meme, but you know, I feel like that's pretty accurate. I don't know why people keep picking Boulder Smash in the last few games.
I figured
Yeah.
recently it
Smash.
did not perform.
Boulder
No,
Smash is
not
a
perform.
shit ability. Do not
It
pick
did not
it.
perform.
There's
I
my
agree with
PSA of the day. I don't know.
All right.
So we have all of the abilities currently in AD in alphabetical order, and if you guys want, we could just start off right away.
Well, should we go
Sure.
through the tier list?
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
let's go through
sure.
the tiers.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I forgot about that part. So in the first tier, we have Instapick, which is basically what it says. You take it because it's one of the top win rate abilities. Shoutouts to winrun.io for providing that information. This is like Chemical Rage, Arctic Burn, maybe Fury Swipes depending on what model you're on.
Yeah.
Sean, you want to
up.
pull that up real quick in the background? Overall abilities?
Overall.
Chemi Rage,
Yeah.
Fury Swipes,
Yeah.
Bash of the Deep, Sakuchi,
Well, we're not
Shadow
sorting
Realm,
by
Arctic
win
Burn.
percentage right now. Sean, can you click the yeah. So number
Structure
3 is
after
dispersion,
shots.
but I don't
Yeah.
agree with that at all.
That's an
We'll get into that though later. The tank passives
Oh, God.
and like
Alright.
Requiem, we'll get into that
We
too.
have to start somewhere, you know?
So that's insta pick, and then the next tier is first pick or deny pick, and so that's you're either first picking it because it's good, or you're deny picking it to take it away from one of the models or heroes in the enemy team, which is very important in AD. If you let Shadow Realm get to the ranged core, you'll probably
Oh,
lose.
Gyro Flat Cannon will win? Who knew?
That's-
Who knew Gyro
yeah,
Flat
yeah.
Cannon was good?
Yeah, so that's that tier explained, and then below that we have generally picks 1 to 2. So either you're first round picking it or second round picking it most of the time, barring specific pools of abilities or specific models or ability pairings. Below that we have generally picks 2 to 4, same logic, but picks either the second round, third round, or fourth round. Below that we have situationally reasonable. So this is like you're kind of last picking or third picking something that is really good on your hero, but shitty on other models, maybe because of talents or something along those lines. And then below that, we have unpicked or actively bad unless pairing. So that's like, for example, Requiem, where it's shit on every single other hero except for Shadow Fiend because it only works on him.
And the deny pick is questionable at best.
Yeah.
So,
Sean recently picked an Eclipse.
I did that, yes.
Which was probably one of the reasons we lost that game.
Yeah, not having an ultimate ability doesn't help.
Yeah, and then finally below that, we have Griefing or Earth Spirit abilities, which is basically if you pick this, you're probably going to lose because you picked something that no one was going to pick, and now the opposite team can choose an actual ability. So congratulations, you threw the game. Randoms, you know who you are.
rejoice.
Yeah.
All AD Hawk players.
Joel's already calling out specific clans. Yeah.
Okay.
So, do we want to kick this off, fellas?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go first ability.
First ability, Acid Spray from Alchemist. Now,
Okay.
Sean, can you maybe pull up Acid Spray's stats here?
I think it's too.
You're not typing in your browser. Oh, you are. Wow.
I
Control
think
F.
it's generally 2 to 4. That's where my initial gut goes with acid.
I 100% agree with that.
I'd agree too.
And in the category of it, probably on the lower spectrum.
I also
Probably
agree.
on the lower spectrum.
I think it gets higher in specific games. I think against specifically like int heroes or ranged heroes, it's better because armor reduction is actually like pretty significant against heroes with low armor innately.
I'd also say overall, in my opinion, it's mainly a farming ability.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's also slightly good in team fights because the large AoE, you can hit a lot of characters with it normally. Just throw
Yeah,
it down.
I think you could also pair it with stuff like we've seen with the Nyx Assassins innate. That one guy had it where
Yeah,
every tick
that's true.
removed 15% of your mana,
Yeah.
which sucked. Or with stuff like Lucky Shot where it's just an AoE denial kind of spell.
All right, move
But
on.
I agree, Joel. It's in the lower range of generally picks 2 to 4.
Acorn shot. That's an easy. That's basically, it's hard, but it honestly is a 1 to 2, and usually picked on Hoodwink. But any ranged model with like one other ability in the first round, especially at the tail end of the round, when you can pick 2 abilities close together,
Yeah,
you pick Acorn shot with something else.
I agree. You
Pretty
have to pair
deadly.
it. You have to
Pretty
pair
deadly.
it.
Yeah.
I think it's usually picks 1 to 2. I don't
Yeah,
think
I don't
it's
think
really
it's 2 to
first pickable. Like,
No,
But I don't
crazy.
think it makes it to 2 to 4 either. So I think
No.
it's 1 to 2.
it's
Yeah.
also like
Mid-range 1 to 2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like you
mid-range
said.
to low-range 1 to 2.
Yeah,
is what
low
I'd
range
say,
1
yeah.
to 2.
Hoodwink is especially better on because Hoodwink's got the talents for it too. Can you hover over the talents, Sean? Acorn Shot bounces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Acorn Shot charges. And then
Charges.
what's the facet? The trick shot where it bounces off a tree.
yeah.
Bounces.
Pretty
So, like,
fucking good.
honestly, on Hoodwink,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
generally 1 to 2, probably keep it mid-range there.
agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, we have
Oh.
Adaptive Strike Strength.
Adaptive Strike. And what's the one beside it? Also,
That's
the
agility.
So we might as well do both of them at the same time because they're almost the same.
I would agree that they're almost the same, but I think Strength is significantly
Just because the stun.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's more value because
Yeah.
of that. I would say it's like situationally reasonable.
Yeah, I would say it's situationally.
It's also like I don't
Yeah,
know.
because it's not usually going unpicked the stun.
yeah, it doesn't deal
usually
any
the
damage
stun.
though, right?
It's just barely above actively bad.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's actually true.
I think actively bad. The agility strike might be actively bad
Yeah,
because you need to be on agility hero.
it's just a bad.
It's basically always your 4th pick.
Yeah,
You're never taking it.
Yeah, I
early.
think it's actively bad. Yeah, I agree with that.
so.
I think it
There is actually
actively
quite
bad.
a big disparity between.
I think there's
these
so
two.
many good abilities, and that one is probably a creep.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a terrible nuke.
All right.
I mean, I've seen people who like secure range creeps in a lane. You're like, wow, okay, you secured range creep. Congrats.
Yeah, that's about all it does.
Yeah.
Eighth, Eighth of Remnant's a high 2 to 4.
Yeah.
A high 2 to 4. It's not 1 to 2 generally, unless there's no stuns in the lobby and it's like 1 out of 3 stuns.
Yeah,
But I
I've seen
think-
you first pick it.
Yeah, I think it. Well, the shard's good. You know, I think it's generally a high 2 to 4, especially on a support.
Yeah, I guess there is like a discussion to be had about the fact that having a shard usually means the ability is more valuable because it can scale.
Yeah.
And this is one of those examples.
It's not first pick. Well, it's not first round pickable.
No.
But it's definitely like second pick,
Yeah. I would say
third pick. 2 to 4.
it's also one of those stuns that gets better the more stuns you have. Because when you can set
Good
up your
follow-up.
own Aether Remnant with your own stun,
Yep.
you have like a combo.
Yeah.
Like if you have like missile and Aether Remnant, you missile.
You don't need to build the Yules.
Yeah, and then you just Aether Remnant the stun to target. Right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, generally picks 2 to 4, but high, I would say.
High 2 to 4, so
I
definitely
agree
above
with
acid.
Yeah, and it's almost a 1 to 2 in some lobbies. Like you said, Joel. Like,
No stuns.
No stuns.
No
Yeah.
stun
You
lobbies.
take
Yeah.
Aether Remnant.
Yeah, supports are first picking it almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Aftershock. I feel like this is. I mean, this has got to be like insta-pick.
It's all. I feel like in this draft, it almost is the highest tier. It might almost be the highest tier. It's close. I think it might be one of the worst highest tiers because it's almost a little bit of a bait pick, especially lobbies that don't have a lot of slow cooldown stuns. It could be a bait pick,
Yeah.
but it's a broken ability, especially in AD.
Yeah,
Especially
I'd
in
say
AD.
it's a strong top tier pick,
I agree.
even in lobbies that don't have that many spammable spells.
Well, is it first pick or is it insta-pick though? Because insta-pick.
I think it's first pick. That's my opinion. But
Really?
yeah,
You
you
don't
got.
think
Yeah,
it's
I don't think it's
instant?
insta pick. I don't think you're pick one, and you see this. In
No,
the
it's
lobby.
true because you do need low skill or low cooldown skills to be in the lobby, and like the win rate is dummy high on Aftershock. But that's just because you go first set and Blink Dagger, and then all of a sudden you have like blink into 4 seconds of stun, maybe more depending on your combos, right? Notably,
Yeah.
also it doesn't work.
I'd say if you're on a model though, that's like, let's say you're a first pick and you're on a model that's not a good like right clicking core,
You're on the Agi.
Slark.
then you might want to
Oh.
pick an Aftershock as your first
I
insta
see.
pick.
I see. Yeah.
I agree,
Yeah.
but I think it's very, very, very high on the first pick.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
agree with top.
I'll
on
agree with
first
that.
pick.
I'll agree high on first pick, top for
Yeah.
now. For
Yeah,
sure.
but not
Yeah.
instant pick.
Just outside instant pick.
Next up is Alacrity.
Ooh, this is interesting.
And see, okay, this is like Invoker's abilities are different
Because they're different in AD.
in AD.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we see here isn't going to be true.
And like, yeah, like they have weird scaling where they are always leveled at level 1, and then
Yes.
you can't level them up at level 2.
Yes.
And then you can start leveling them up at level 3. And I think Alacrity is like usually gone picks 2 to 4, but it's definitely not been picked in some games for sure.
100% it's not been picked. It's usually end, but it's almost always pauses like a 1. Like
Yeah.
it's usually just a
Yeah.
carry with 1 or 2 attack modifiers that picks up Alacrity. And then occasionally you get in a game with a guy with Bash of the Deep or something, and you're like, this is stupid. This is like
That's
broken.
true.
I do think it's probably
2 to 4.
2 to 4, generally 2 to 4,
Yeah.
and probably
Lower end.
Lower end of it, or do you think it's situationally reasonable?
I think it's 2 to 4 because I think it gets picked almost every game.
It
I
I
think
think it's
carry.
2 to 4, and it's a good spell.
And is it better than Acid Spray or the Aether Remnant? Probably not.
No.
Probably not to me.
I mean, it might be
That's-
better than Acid Spray,
I think it's
actually.
better than Acid.
Okay,
Spray.
I'll put it in the middle. Acid Spray isn't that good.
I
Yeah.
will say, though, like, when you compare it to, like, Bloodlust, looks pretty weak.
It does look a lot weaker than Bloodlust.
You know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like, as a
Alright.
comparison point. Oh, Anchor Smash.
Anchor Smash. I'm
Anchor
gonna see some
Smash, that's
stats on this.
Yeah, Anchor Smash.
Oof.
Damage reduction.
In some
Pretty
builds-
important.
Pretty crazy. In some builds.
Useless on a ranged hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some tank builds really good just because the damage reduction allows them to tank so much more. Obviously against melees and things like that.
Yeah.
But like,
Works with modifiers.
it's
like
physical
crit.
damage,
Yeah.
yeah. You've, like, Enchant Totem. You've seen that combo.
That's a good combo.
how many recently games though? The last games do you remember this doing anything?
Nah. It's usually shit.
There was
Yeah,
like
it
one
is.
game.
It's usually
Yeah.
it's usually not game breaking or like super good.
I would think it's 2 to 4. Low end to 2 to 4.
I would say I agree with that.
Because I don't think it's, situationally reasonable. It means that, like, I think it gets picked every game.
It does.
I don't think it doesn't get picked every game, where this, I think, doesn't get
Unless
picked
it's
every
like
game. This
all
for
ranged
sure doesn't.
heroes. If it's all ranged heroes,
Yeah.
then no one picks it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Anchor Smash just feels like it's a laning ability,
It's
and then
kind
it
of a
kind of
laning,
falls
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
So
Slash farming.
I think it's probably better.
I'd almost
than
put
Acid
it better
Spray.
than Alacrity almost.
Yeah.
Maybe in between Alacrity and Acid Sprays.
Yeah,
Good.
because I mean it secures
think
your
that-
lane and
yeah.
it does some
I
stuff,
agree with
but
that.
falls off a cliff.
Yeah.
And remember when the shard used to make it like affect buildings or something good? It used to have an upgraded shard, and then they changed it. And they put it in the Talon, I just remembered. At level 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyways.
All right.
Yep. So
That's what made it really good.
Ancient Seal.
Ancient Seal.
I think it's situationally reasonable.
I would
less
say
than
it's a
generally picks 2
situational
to
spell.
4.
It does no damage. It's just really a silence and amps your magic.
Yeah. Against some teams, it's like actually nuts. I think it gets way better on a Skyraft when you get the -7 seconds Ancient Seal cooldown, and it literally halves the CD.
Think about Skyraft's abilities also, all their eggs.
It's true.
So it's just like if you're going in eggs build in AD and you just 4th pick an Ancient Seal, you're smiling. You know, you're laughing. You're like, this ability is going to be really good when I get my eggs, but it's not obviously no damage. It's just increased magic damage. So you have to be outputting something.
Yeah, there has to be other magic abilities paired with it, or something you really want to silence. Like I've picked it against Sakuchi deliberately pretty early.
I'd say more of the time you're picking it to try and counter the enemy rather than amp up your own spells.
I agree. Yeah, also good with like Soulbind and stuff like that, where you can kind of combo it. So I think situationally reasonable, but above Adaptive Strike Strength.
I can agree with that.
Does it get picked every game?
Usually.
So then it's like the worst of 2 to 4.
Or the top of situational.
Or the top of situational. Okay, we can make that line now because the top of situational is
it's still
basically the worst of 2 to 4.
Yeah,
if you imagine. Yeah.
So Aphotic Shield, strong dispel, low CD, pretty fucking insane spell.
Actually, it is quite a good spell.
Sometimes our teammates don't understand.
Really good with that dispel.
I would say tends to go later than most abilities should, right?
It does go late for some reason.
Gets slept on.
It does get slept on.
It gets slept on a little bit.
I think it's like probably generally picks 2 to 4, but like pretty high generally picks 2 to 4.
I'd put that almost at the top of 2 to 4.
I'd put it right there.
Or right behind Aether Remnant. Yeah.
And Alacrity. I think it's better than what I'm seeing there, but not better than Aether Remnant.
I agree.
Obviously, situationally, it could compete.
Yeah, I mean, you get it in a game against Primal Roar and, like, you know, fucking
it's one of the
Flaming Lassos.
It's one of the very few dispels you can put on your teammates, though.
Yeah.
There's not that many in the game.
It's like press the attack, Aphotic Shield,
strong
dispels.
Fortune's End.
Fortune's End, yeah. And, I mean, if you're a Abadog, you get a few bonus things like the health when you apply it on someone, stuff like that.
Yeah.
At level 10, the talent, so... I think if you pick it early, you're probably on an Abaddon, or you're countering like Lasso, Primal Roar, some of those picks. So yeah,
there's some key spells you want to dispel.
Ooh, next up is Arc Lightning.
This one buffed a lot recently, and first picked a lot of the games we play.
I agree.
First picked.
It's close to being deny pick too, where you're like, I don't want to play against Nature's Prophet with Arc Lightning.
This is gonna suck.
And that was after they got rid of the Manta being able to use it, which is insane that was even a thing. That you just rush, like, you're basically casting the spell with the no mana cost.
No mana cost.
And
I had my first game with it recently, and I was like, this is stronger than I thought.
It's like mixed damage too, because you can be like attacking someone, hitting with right clicks, but then it's zapping with magic every time. And I think those abilities that mix damage is actually kind of like slept on, the fact that it's 2 different damage types, so...
Definitely.
I think it's first pick or deny pick, but below Aftershock, probably.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I'd say it's one of the fastest farming abilities, but you have to wait until that 15-minute mark was the only drawback.
That's why I think it would be generally picked 1 to 2 at the very top.
Yeah.
You don't think it's first pick or deny pick?
I don't think you're seeing this and being like, I have to pick this right now.
I've totally done that.
Like too much. It's not like
there's
crazy.
a few better ones though you could take over.
Yeah, I mean you get it with like there's combos with it too, like with Aftershock for example.
Yeah. Well,
or like
I think the fact that it needs the shard to work at its best.
That's true.
Is a big knockdown.
But that's a good
in
point.
the average game, I'd say it usually goes within the first round, but it isn't. You know, like something that the first 4 heroes of the draft have to lock in, or the game's over.
I agree.
Yeah. So I'd put it at the top of 1 to 2, but
it's better than Acorn Shot.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. It's probably near the top of 1 to 2. It's probably the first picked.
Yeah,
that's true. First picked on any range core. Like that has the mana capacity.
Yeah, and then we have Arcane Aura. Now this is situational at best, right?
Yeah, at best, yeah. It's like if there's some really terrible spells left and you're like the last pick of the draft, you might pick up an Arcane Aura.
Yeah, or if your team is like Troll Warlord, fucking
Slark,
shitty ass int heroes that just have no business casting spells most of the time.
Yeah.
You get a last pick Arcane Aura, it like does wonders for your laning stage and stuff.
That's true.
It's like pretty bad though, generally.
Yeah, it doesn't do enough.
For like being a spell slot, it's kind of almost like you don't really want to pick it ever.
Yeah.
Fourth pick when there's absolutely garbage left in the lobby and your team's super heavy on spells and it's decent.
Yeah.
It is decent in that scenario, like that exact scenario.
Not only that scenario though.
But literally that's the only time it's really that valuable. So it's probably like unpicked, like very bottom of situationally reasonable.
Yeah.
Like the worst
I like
of
that.
the situationally reasonable.
I agree. Arcane Bolt. This used to be better.
Yeah.
It's fallen
Decent
off.
on Skyrath, but on anybody else, definitely less, like, because it needs so much int. You need to be a spammer. You need to like actually be able to sustain using it in lane.
Pretty broken with some abilities because of the low CD and like the fact that it scales with int. Like it's one of the few abilities that scales with your intelligence, which is notable. Before, when it gave you lifesteal, lifesteal, it was actually really good. But they got rid of that shit, so I don't know. I think it's like it's close to being like situationally reasonable because it used to get picked every game when it had the lifesteal component. Now it wheels pretty much every time I've seen it in the last few games.
Yeah. Concussive shots picked, the alts picked, usually Arcane Sail, and then like...
Yeah, concussive is his best ability. We'll get to that, but like... I don't know. Do you think it's better than Ancient Seal? I don't think so.
No, I'd put it below Ancient Seal.
Yeah. It's probably better than... Well, Strength? The adaptive strength at least
depends
stunts.
Depends on the situation,
yeah.
But those two are basically beside each other almost.
Yeah.
I'd put it there. I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Arcane Curse. This one's
if you have Global Silence, this is a great pickup. Just in case you ever wanted to get the eggs.
So fucking annoying.
So
when
annoying.
you get hit with Global Arcane Curse.
Yeah, so it's... And like a lot of AoE effects, ninks, other things like this that have like, you know... You're trying to target a lot of people. It's decent, but it's not crazy. It's not first or second picks.
No.
Generally 2 to 4 for me.
I agree. I think
like
it's
2 to 4, yeah.
It's better on a Silencer too, right? Like Silencer has Arcane Curse.
I don't think anybody but Silencer really picks this usually.
Yeah,
before 2.
3 different Arcane Curse talents.
So. Yeah.
I think it's lower in 2 to 4. Like it's probably. I think it's better than Anchor Smash.
I like it above Anchor Smash and Acid Spray.
Because it slows. And it has silence component. Like, I don't know. If they cast a spell,
only if they cast, so it's kind of...
Prevents them from casting.
Yeah. It's good, but it's not amazing. So next we have Arcane Orb. This has to be situational.
It's only ever picked when you have Essence Flux.
You can't pick it if you don't have Essence Flux.
You only pick it when you have Essence Flux. And in that scenario, sometimes it's cracked. If you get another ability AD that refreshes your mana pool 100% every time, and you can just kind of like doink around or something and jet it. But have we seen it perform recently? Not really.
I mean, I had it recently with the build where I can't remember what the other spell was that I wanted to spam, but the fact that Arcane Orb scales down with your mana to guarantee that you can cast it was really, really effective. Because that is like guaranteed going to trigger Essence Flux eventually, right?
Exactly.
So I think it's like pretty...
The fact that you have to pair with Essence Flux though in its ability draft and people can steal Essence Flux for other purposes.
Yeah, that's true.
Really
as an ability as itself.
So you kind of have to pick Essence Flux first and then move into the Arcane.
So it's actually probably inactively bad unless pairing. I made that category for a reason.
I think it would slot in that category pretty well.
Above strength though, for sure.
Above agility strength?
Even if you have nothing, you'd probably take that over the
Next up is Arctic Burn.
Well, there's a category for this. I think we literally don't even have to talk about this ability.
This is second highest win rate currently.
Yeah, it's depict on any hero.
Yeah,
in the draft.
Ranged.
Especially ranged. Bonus attack range, very very good. free pathing.
Oh,
Very, very
percent base health burn, and it says, what is that, 10%?
10%.
Current health.
10% of
though.
current health. Well, at 100% health, that's a lot of health, you know?
Yeah. That is also one of the better eggs upgrades, I think.
Definitely.
Having
100%.
just basically free pathing 24/7 as long as you have mana. Yeah, it's cracked.
Yeah.
I don't really know how else to
Tom
put it.
Haynes,
Insanely
not
cracked.
much more needs to be said.
No.
350 attack range. It's just gives
Busted.
you everything you want.
You get it on a Wyvern too. The talents are pretty nuts.
Yeah, the talents.
Like slow, debuff duration. Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
good.
It's
Can you
just
swap
super
columns of
good.
this?
Swap columns.
Oh, no. This stuff's not an AD.
I mean, yeah, I could try and delete this, but I don't want to be like.
No, you're good.
Yeah. I guess I could
Just
clear
scroll.
row images. Arcane Supremacy.
This is a good one.
This is probably first pick. I think. It's so generically broken. Like, more
It is.
range, more spell amp.
It's a lot of spell. I'm 26%.
What else do you really need?
It's first picked every game.
240? That's more than an Aether Lens.
Mhm.
So,
It's an Aether Lens with spell amp, like the good old days.
you pair it with Hook, you're living the dream, my friend. I think this is a pretty clear first pick. Only question, is it better than Aftershock?
No.
I don't think so.
Not in my opinion.
No.
Okay.
I
Also,
wouldn't say.
it's like you pair it with fewer things than Aftershock pairs with. Or it's more generically broken. Like the floor
At the floor.
is higher, but the ceiling is
Lower.
way lower.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Next up is Arena of Blood.
Hmm.
I think this has actually gotten better, generally speaking. I think it's probably picks 2 to 4, but high in that because you can really isolate someone with this ult.
You can. Protecting your team from projectiles from outside is quite good.
Yeah,
Really, it just gets a lot better if you can pair it with Spear.
that's true. Any
But
disruption of the
It's
movement.
still a pretty good ult if there's not a lot of other good ults out there. I wouldn't say it's an amazing ult.
No.
Um,
Is
but
it better than Aether Remnant?
I'd say no, honestly.
It's hard.
Is it better than a Photic Shield?
It's an alt, so you have to rate it a
That's
little
true.
different.
Because ults are like, you have to be a little
There's
more...
usually a more
You only get one
quality
of them.
ult.
You only get one of them.
Yeah.
There's usually a better quality ult than an Arena of Blood. You're probably gonna only take it in your third or fourth pick when most of the alts are gone.
So,
Yeah,
lower end of 2 to 4.
I agree. I think it's probably better than Alacrity. And
Yeah,
Probably
I'd
over
put it
some.
right about
Yeah.
there. I like that.
2 to 4 is going to fill up fast. There's going to be a lot of 2 to 4s.
Yeah.
Obviously. It's
Yeah.
a medium.
Next up is Assassinate.
Pretty insane.
Pretty insane.
This
to be
ability is
paired.
annoying as fuck. We've died to it so many times recently.
The fact that it can apply attack modifiers and it's just one right click. So you buy Witchblade, it applies to Witchblade. You can really pair it with a lot of different things.
Mortal Strike,
Mortal Strikes, another
Enchant Totem,
great one, yeah. Enchant
Walrus.
Totem.
Walrus you can't pair it with. It's an ult.
Walrus, yeah.
Imagine.
That would
You
be
get
insane.
countered by one item though.
That's true.
Lincoln
Like
Sphere
this.
does counter this pretty heavily.
That's what I bought last game. We played against it. We won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it kind of falls off eventually.
It does, but
It can be annoying on the right
if you
hand.
get ahead with this
Ben, it was
spell
getting pretty bad.
and you're hitting support with it, it's gonna kill people.
Yeah, and the fact that when you kill a person, it's refreshed. That's like just icing on top.
Yeah,
Because
you
you
need
can
to make
really,
sure you're using it properly and killing people with
Yeah.
it.
you can really chain together some frags. So
Definitely puts
So-
out a lot of damage.
I mean, I'd say it's generally probably picks 1 to 2 because you get it early and it will do something. It's low CD, it's high damage, it's pretty darn efficient.
Mhm.
There's some OP pairings as well that makes it even better. So
Yeah, is it above Acorn Shot? I don't think it's above Arc Lightning. I think it's probably above.
I'd put it above
I
Acorn,
think it's
not
above
above Arc.
Acorn Shot.
Yeah.
I think Acorn Shot is not as good as it used to be.
Agreed. Next up is Astral Imprisonment.
This is an interesting spell.
Decent, good shard.
Yes.
Wind
There's
Waker.
some utility in this spell. It's
Yeah.
actually better than some people think.
It's like
Yeah.
a disruption without the illusions.
The
Oh,
egg
it's
shard is
decent.
pretty good against
Yeah.
certain spells to save. You can also set up with it.
Mhm.
There's certain combos like you
Mhm.
could Astral Imprisonment into Arrow is like the classic combo.
It is.
Um,
I would say it's also kind of like you can consider it almost a strong dispel.
yeah.
Where it's like if someone grips your carry and you astral them, that's like game winning.
Yeah.
Or like, lasso, etc., all those single target ones. I do think it wheels though.
It does get
lobby.
around in the
It
draft.
does. It gets
yeah.
around.
Yeah.
There's a lot of utility in this spell if used properly.
The mana steal and the damage is
It's not
negligible.
really, yeah.
secondary to the saving
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah.
So where does that put it?
Generally 2 to 4.
I
Above
agree.
Alacrity,
Agreed.
not above Arena.
Yeah, I think I agree
it's
with
really
that.
But I can,
close. It's really close,
any
but-
two down, I'd be okay with.
I think it's
Like,
I think it's almost better than Arena because it's not an ultimate.
that is.
But like, how much are we gonna waive it?
Yeah. We'll see.
So I guess we'll just leave it there for now.
Yeah.
Next up was Astral Spirit. Sean, we're gonna defer to you
This
because
is
Yeah, Sean, let us
I
know.
hate using this ability. Joel never picks it because why would you?
This is one of those abilities. It's like it's really annoying to use, but the benefit you get from it, if you use it properly, is insane. Usually, it's good in one of the side lanes. I like it on a pause 1 character. If you get 2 heroes in a full creep wave,
No.
and then bring it back, and you're like level 3, and you have this spell at level 2, you can kill people really easily. It gives you that much damage.
The eggs is good too.
And then
right?
the eggs is a huge component as well. Buying eggs with this ability is
2 seconds.
insane.
per hero that you hit.
It's
You
your
hit-
own BKB built in pretty much, so.
Yeah, it's like half the time someone comes out with eggs, Astral Spirit, we're like, where do you get a BKB from? And
Yeah.
then we're like, oh shit,
You
never
hit
mind.
4 heroes, he has it for 8 seconds.
Yeah. And I mean, the last time I played with Astral Spirit, I had Echo Stomp with it, and it was actually decent, but
yeah, it's good.
I'm never really going to be excited to do that. So I would say it generally picks 2 to 4, but pretty high.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think it's top tier? You think it's 1 to 2?
I'd say it's top of 2 to 4. I think it's better than Aether Remnant.
Joel, what do you
As
say
a
to that?
carry, it probably is.
I'd
Yeah.
say it's too good.
It probably
The eggs
is as a
insane.
carry. Like when you're picking and you're looking through it, it's a wild ability. It usually does get scooped up
It does.
within the first two rounds for sure. Usually.
I think Aether Remnant is better personally, but I don't play with this ability often, so we're going to defer
Yeah.
to Sean
I
on this
could-
one. He
yeah.
is the highest MMR.
I think if you're used
That
to using this
0.998%
spell and you're good
percentile.
with it, it
Yeah.
can be very good.
If you micro it to like give you vision and shit too, that's another bonus.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
we
a
didn't,
lot of utility. You can,
didn't talk about the fact that it gives you bonus armor and bonus move speed as well.
the
Like
move speed's huge.
the move speed's
Move
big on
speed's
range cores
crazy.
as well. Like I've seen you pick a Gyro Astral Spirit first pick,
Yeah,
and it goes dirt paint.
yeah, it's really, really good on a range hero, especially.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, we'll do top of 2 to
yeah,
4.
I like it right there.
We got some gas.
Yeah.
coming
Next
here.
up we have Astral Step.
Always
gotta
first
be
pick.
first
pick.
Always
Spell.
first pick. So it's
Definitely.
literally and generally 1 to 2 or first pickable.
I think
because
it's first pickable.
It's first pickable. That's
Yeah.
I think it
usually-
is first pickable as well.
I don't think it's insta pick, but I think it's like if you see this in round 2, you're surprised.
You're like, why is this?
Yeah.
here?
yeah.
You're like, what?
Definitely.
Basically turns any
It's a
hero
blink with 2 charges
that deals
that
damage.
deals damage
Yeah.
Yeah.
in an AOE.
Yeah.
Like it's
It also applies attack modifiers, which is
like,
insane.
It's probably the highest first pick right now. Is it over Echo or
Aftershock?
Aftershock?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think it's over Aftershock.
But definitely above Arcane Supremacy.
It's the same thing where the floor is high or the floor is higher, but the ceiling is lower, right? Like
Yeah,
I think it's
that's
above Arcane Supremacy as well.
Yeah.
I like it above Arcane.
I'll put it in the
Supremacy.
middle there. I'll be happy with
I
that.
just think like Aftershock there's too many combos. Oh, next up is Atrophy Aura.
That's a
Sean,
good
that's
one.
your most picked
It's going in the same
passive,
slot.
isn't it?
Yeah, one of my most picked passives, I'd say. This spell is like, it's just so strong. The damage reduction is huge, but really you're mainly getting it for just the bonus damage. You can chain together kills because you get a kill, then you get huge damage bonus, and you get another kill, and you just get even stronger, and you can really chain together a lot of kills.
If you have something like Shadow Step, it's like bonkers. Or
Yeah.
Teleport, where you get a kill, you teleport to a different part of the map with like 250 bonus
Yeah,
damage.
you pair this
and
with a
three-shot someone.
mobility spell, that gets you to the enemies is really nice. Yeah, you just farm faster overall because you have the bonus damage for killing all those creeps. I would put this on first pick, but is it over an Astral Step?
It's close.
In my
I'd say
eyes, it is, and it's like almost instant. Well, it is instant pick almost on Underlord because of the facet.
Oh, the facet on
The
Underlord.
facet
Broken.
just makes it
facet
absolutely
is-
broken.
I've seen the
It's pretty
cleave from a
cool.
tier 4 hit the fountain. And you
so,
cleave on buildings.
So I think it's
I
instant
think
pick
if you
almost.
visually cleave on buildings,
Oh,
you
you
actually
visually?
don't hit people.
Ah.
It just
It's a bug.
looks like it because it's
Yeah.
such a big like little lines on the map.
I mean,
or
it's, yeah, you get that on an Underlord.
whatever.
all of a
But
sudden,
yeah,
it's
like
crap.
I think it is above Astral Step.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'll defer.
Is it above Aftershock, Sean? As someone who's played with it more than anyone.
Personally, I like it more than Aftershock, but is it better than Aftershock?
Raw power level.
The raw power level, I would put it behind Aftershock. I
Yeah.
think Aftershock is still just way too insane. You can 1v5 a game with an Aftershock with the rates pairing.
That's true. I also think Aftershock is better on hero models that are like kind of shitty. But you put Atrophy Aura on a shitty hero, you will stay shitty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Like,
true. That's
if
true.
you get it on
Yeah.
like a Spectre, doesn't matter. You're
Yeah.
a fucking Spectre.
it's
Like,
not as
yeah.
good.
you're gonna basically still be crappy. Okay, next up is Avalanche.
It's a good spell.
It's a
one of the
great
better
spell.
stuns in the game.
Yeah.
It's a great reoccurring tick 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 little
It's good
spell.
damage.
Good damage.
High damage.
Big AoE.
AoE is
Yeah,
important.
The AoE is probably the best thing about it. You can hit
Yeah.
multiple heroes pretty easily.
1.4 seconds, level 1 and level 4. So, it's like really good level 1. Obviously loses a little bit. Obviously as the game goes
Cooldown's
on.
a little high, which is one of the main drawbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, high cooldown.
Definitely better on a Tiny than any other hero because you put a talent on that and it's pretty good. Cast range, damage, cooldown.
Yeah, it's really, really good in a tiny.
Yeah. It's also notably combos with Toss, but like, who's really doing that? in
Yeah,
AD?
probably not going to assemble that combo.
Yeah, so I think it's generally picks 1 to 2 because I think it's one of the more premium stuns.
So it's the worst 1 to 2 right now. Basically.
I think it's better
I
than
think it's
Acorn
better than
Shot.
Acorn Shot. Yeah.
I'd actually put it above Acorn Shot as well.
I might put it above Assassinate, honestly.
It's close, yeah.
It's really good.
Okay.
I think it's
I'll
like,
put it
if
above
it
Acorn.
wasn't AoE, it wouldn't be as
Well,
impactful.
yeah.
You think above Assassinate, Sean, or do you think
I'd
below?
keep it below Assassinate just because it is a high cooldown.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, next up is Bad Juju.
Bad Juju.
Changed recently, very good on a lot of builds. Can make stuff broken for sure, reducing the cooldown. I had it on
Yeah.
hook, it's crazy, you're just chucking hooks.
Do you remember when Bad Juju is a 50% flat
Yes.
reduction of CD?
Yeah,
which
that's
is like
ridiculous.
so nuts.
That's crazy.
So crazy. But it's really good.
It can be better now, arguably, with certain abilities.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
it
like
takes
when I had
health.
Death
Yeah.
Pulse. I had Death Pulse with it and
Death
something
Bolt is
else.
pretty
and-
crazy.
Yeah. That was, it's gotta be first pick, right?
I don't
High
think,
pick.
but it's never first picked. But it's never first picked.
Usually you can snag it like
No one ever picks it first round or second round.
second
usually.
or third, I'd say.
It's like usually
goes.
third round picked because you have 2 abilities. You like, I want to reduce the cooldown of these abilities. Let me pick Bad Juju.
I think, yeah, the fact that it's an alt that basically does by itself nothing.
So if you get it second round, you have 1 ability. It's like you're basically relying fully on that ability. It's like rarer.
Yeah, and
usually
if, like,
third round pick.
if you're Sean and you have Atrophy Aura, you don't even look at Bad Juju.
No, exactly.
So, it's very,
It's like a spell
Very
casting
good on-
ability
yeah.
that you pick third round.
Similar to Arcane
So-
Supremacy.
I think it's 2 to 4.
You think it's 2
You
to
think
4?
it's 2 to 4?
No, I think it's 1 to 2.
I think it's 1 to 2.
You think at the second draft on average after 2 rounds it's picked always.
Yes.
I think it's bottom of 1 to 2.
Okay. You think it's below
Acorn Shot
Acorn?
is slightly better.
Alright. I think it's better than Astral,
Actually,
personally.
better than Astral?
Yeah.
It probably is better than Astral.
Like, when you get a combo where you go stun, Bad Juju, stun, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, now I'm completely stunned by 2 different
It is an
stuns.
alt. It is an alt.
Yeah.
It's kind of cracked.
But
It does have a 3-second cooldown as well.
That's why because it's an alt, I think it stays near the low end of that. I don't think it goes much
You
higher.
think it's not as good as... Do you think it's better than Astral? Or, sorry, you think it's not as good as Astral? You think it should be in 2 to 4?
I'd almost put it
Uh,
there. I'm close to putting
We'll
it.
defer to
you think it's
Sean.
behind Astral?
Depends. If you don't have any spells to cast that are like, I need to reduce the cooldown here.
But you're not picking it if you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
Actually,
But you need spells first. It's like something you pick after you have the spells in a draft scenario. But you could just put your eggs in your basket.
Yeah,
second
exactly.
draft
You can
it,
just hope a good spell
and just
wheels.
hope somebody
I'd actually
wheels.
put it below Astral.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Change it.
alright.
I actually think so. Yeah,
Aether Remnant though.
above Aether Remnant.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm
I
happy
agree.
to
I
keep
agree.
it.
Yeah.
All right.
Next up is Ball Lightning.
Pretty terrible.
Pretty terrible, but really annoying.
It
Sometimes.
can be good though.
Really
Can be
annoying.
good.
You get some heroes that just absolutely pop off. Sean cannot type Storm Spirit into the keyboard.
No, I cannot.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So much mana
if there's a
drain.
lot of bad alts left and you need some mobility, you can get this.
But
not
it's
bad.
not first picked or second picked or...
Really good with Aftershock.
Really?
Joel has played that
It's,
recently.
it's first pickable with Aftershock, obviously.
Absolutely insane with Aftershock.
But
Good with Essence Flux. We've
good
seen
with
that
Essence
as well.
Flux. Like,
That as
it's
well.
actively bad unless pairing is almost the category you go in. Because
I
it is
agree.
almost actively bad. You do drain all your mana,
Whoa,
but
whoa.
it is like an escape.
I must have not moved Astral, where the fuck? What the? Not Astral, sorry.
That was
Atrophy.
up here.
Atrophy,
above,
yeah.
there. It was there.
Did I click on that by accident?
I don't know what
I'm
happened.
not sure.
All right, well, it's
Yeah,
in
it-
this good place now. Sorry.
I think it's maybe the top, or it's somewhere in situationally reasonable
I agree.
for me. Somewhere in there.
You remember the guy who had it at level 1 at like level 20, and we were like, why the fuck did he leave it at level 1?
Well, recently I had it at a low level at it.
Yeah, Sean did
In the
too. Sean's
game.
like, I could have leveled it.
Oh, that
and
was
it
you.
Yeah,
I was leveling stats.
You're crazy.
yeah.
I mean, it was worth it though.
It makes it more mana efficient though.
It
Yeah.
does. So you
And
don't
you
have
were
to use
losing
it.
mana. I
Yeah.
remember you were like, what the
Sean's like, I have no
shit?
mana. If I could have had
I
10
mean-
more mana, it was like, well, if you leveled it, you would have had 150
I
more
was
mana.
throwing everything into stats on a right-click Monkey King build.
Yeah, with this,
Which
is
you
a
last
bad
picked
pick.
this, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
must have
it was a last
picked this.
pick. It was like just
So
all
situationally
that's left.
reasonable.
Is it better than Ancient Seal?
No,
No,
no.
I like it right there.
Okay.
Right.
Next up, well, this is pretty clear.
This is pretty.
Bash
Bash
of
the
the
Deep.
Deep.
It's insta-picked.
Yeah, I agree. It's
It's the worst of insta-picked. Maybe that we'll get today,
Yeah.
but it is an insta-pick.
Yeah.
Because you're baited into it because it's so good, but sometimes you get it and you're like, you need attack speed, you need, a range.
kinda need a
is
range-
insane.
range
Yeah,
model.
you
it's,
need a range.
It's maybe a deny pick, first pick then, you know? Because
Deny
like,
it from a
I
good
don't know,
range
it's in
score.
like it's like 5th win rate.
No,
It's a
it is
high,
high.
like it's a good spell.
the fact that it's guaranteed on your 4th hit
It's
rather than a chance
guaranteed.
is like
Yeah.
so broken.
you load it up, you walk into the fight, you just hit
Focus
somebody.
fire is just like full to 0. You cannot move.
Pairs with a lot,
Yeah.
obviously.
It's
Straight
pretty
from
nuts.
a range share would be pretty good too.
Especially the fact that the bonus damage is physical. Like when you hit a bash in lane early on a hero with no armor and it's like boom, it's
Yeah.
like chunky.
It is huge.
And you farm like a god.
Farming's
so-
really good too.
Yeah. I think it's I
Does
agree.
double damage against creeps.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the farming
like, so-
is nuts.
Insta-pick. Worst
Yeah.
of it, but insta-pick.
I agree, yeah.
Mhm.
Next up, Battery Assault. This one's risen a lot in my books, personally.
I love the spell.
You get a little attack speed, run at someone. There's a lot of
You mean
damage.
move
You throw
speed?
a
A lot of
lot-
move speed.
Sorry, move speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
does a lot of damage early.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's quite a house on a melee hero specifically. If you get a melee hero with Battery Assault and you are running at a ranged core and you get on top of them, they will die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now the fact that it deals double damage to creeps means you can do it with like one range creep up and just run through the range creep, and like the first 2 ticks of Battery Assault will kill the range creep, and then you just lay into
When
whoever
you're on the
you're
hero,
running.
yeah.
Really annoying too. When you're trying to like do something as an Earthshaker and you're getting Battery Assaulted, that's the classic. Trying to Fissure and the animation gets blocked.
Yeah, I'd say
But when you're drafting,
I don't think it's
You're
in
not-
1 to 2 though.
you're not picking it 1 to 2 still. Maybe very tail end of 2 sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think it's generally 2 to 4. And
Agreed.
it's
Above Bad Juju or below Aether Remnant?
I think it's by
I think it's
probably
worse than
above
Aether Remnant.
Remnant.
Oh really?
Really?
I was gonna put it here, but I feel like Arena is maybe worse than it. I think Arena might be worse than it.
I'd
So it
agree.
goes in
I
front
think
of
Battery
Arena.
Assault's better than Arena.
Exactly,
I agree.
but is it better than Aphotic Shield?
I'd say yeah.
I think so.
But not Aether Remnant, for sure.
Well, you said you thought...
Is it?
I don't know, because the thing is like Battery
it
Assault in a no stun lobby, right? Compared to Aether Remnant in a low stun lobby. Battery Assault probably not doing as much.
You do need to throw a lot of levels into this spell early
To get
make
it to do
really
damage.
good.
And it's pretty shit on a ranged hero. You get Aether Remnant on any hero, it's good.
Yeah.
I think it's almost worse than a
Aphotic
Shield.
Shield.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's.
I might be convinced. Yeah, I think it's below Aphotic Shield.
You get it on a Clockwork though?
Yeah,
Oh.
on the clockwork.
Goes
What's
up in
the
value.
talents? What's
Goes
the
up in
talents?
value.
Damage,
Battery Assault damage. Yeah.
Interval.
And the interval is 25, but that's like a really
Negligible.
You're barely ever gonna
25
get
minute. If you're getting to 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, Battle Hunger. We've seen someone first pick this in the last week.
And they
haven't we?
lost.
And they lost.
And they lost. So that explains that. Not that good. It's obviously
It's
a
not
decent stun. If you max this ability, it's good, but like, it's not good enough
You're
to
probably
just
not gonna be
max this
maxing it,
ability.
though,
Yeah,
You max it, you put it on them, they deny your range creep, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they're a ranged hero, it's terrible. They're just gonna get a deny. They're gonna do something. It's gonna be easy for them.
If
I
you're
feel
already zoning somebody, or if you're trying to zone them and you're throwing the spell on them, it can be good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those abilities that you think is shit, and then you play against it one game, and you're like, what the fuck is doing all of this damage?
He maxes it, and you're like, why am I so
Yeah.
slow? And you're like, yeah, you max it. I think it's situationally reasonable at the top end or at the bottom end of generally 2 to 4.
I think it's situational. I think
I like.
I don't see it get picked every
Yeah.
game. Every game it's...
there are some games where it's basically not drafted because there's just higher quality abilities, and I think that makes it not generally picks 2 to 4. You know?
I'd agree with that.
Is it better than...
I think it's better than ball lightning for sure.
Yeah. But it's- I think it goes there.
Yeah, I'd say it's better than ball lightning.
I say
I
it goes
think
there.
so.
I value the silence more than the little bit of tick damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Silence is way better. Next up is Battle Trance.
Almost always picked on someone that has fervor or is a right clicker or something in that strain.
Yeah, I like pairs with a lot of good carry passives.
Right.
Yep.
Really easy to get trained though.
You can get kited pretty heavily with this
Yeah.
spell. Especially, I mean, it does last a long time, 6.5 second duration. You get all the attack speed, 200 attack speed, 80% lifesteal. It looks great on paper, 35% movement speed. But when you use it in game, if you're not under the effect of a BKB, you're probably going to get kited.
Yeah, I agree. It's also funny when you pop it and then you run into the creep wave and start hitting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they changed actually.
You'll
the target
prioritize
heroes.
priority.
Prioritize
Yeah.
You should prioritize heroes. Yeah.
But I think, I agree that Battle Trance is picked a lot, but sometimes is pretty fucking mid.
It can grief your game.
Yeah. So I'd say generally picks 2 to 4, maybe in the mid.
Better than
Is
Arena.
it better than Arena? That's what I'm going off of right now. It's
I
like
think
Arena's
I
our
think it
midpoint.
is.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit better than Arena, but
Barely.
barely better than Arena. Especially on just as like
Yeah.
a random pick, it's terrible. Is it a random
I mean-
pick? It's terrible.
If you've never really played with this ability, Joel, because why would you?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like if I random picked Arena, way better than randomly picking Battle Trance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why. But
The
I think it's
ceiling-
a better ability in general,
Yeah.
especially on a core.
Yeah, I agree.
Right click.
Next up, this is a classic, Berserker's Call. I think, for me personally, this is a first pick ability. BKB piercing AoE stun, combos with blade mail.
Yep.
Bonus armor.
But do we see it first pick generally? No.
No.
Usually in the first round it is not picked. Counter Helix is usually picked in the first
But
round
they're
because they
fucking it
pair
up.
together.
But they're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I know, but they're trying to but
Berserker's Call is a better spell.
I know. But Counter Helix is almost always picked before it, I swear.
Yeah, it's because someone wants to go in the jungle and let the creeps trigger counter heal.
You can farm with counter helix.
Yeah.
That's,
But
I think it's a great stun.
I think it's picks 1 to 2.
Is it picks 1 to 2 or is it 2 to 4?
It used
That's
to be
the
my
question.
highest
You have
win
to
rate
be on a
ability, so I'm kind of biased.
yeah, usually you want to be on a strength model. or you're probably going to die if you're casting this spell on more than one hero.
100%. So you have to be basically on a strength.
But you get 15 armor.
You do get 15 armor, which is decent, but if
you're
you're
a
still on an
Slark.
int hero, you're gonna die.
I think it's at the higher end of generally picks 2 to 4. But that's...
Yeah, I could be convinced. Sean, what do you think?
I agree with it. It's in 2 to 4. I'd say I'd slot it in right above. I'd put it above Battery Assault, almost.
Ooh.
I'd put it
Interesting.
above Aether Remnant almost.
I would almost put it above Aether Remnant, either here or here.
Yeah, I agree.
Really?
I'm
You're
bad
way
between
up
bad
there
juju and
with this.
Well, think about this. Someone goes BKB teleport. You go call.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. We just countered you.
I guess.
Or you see someone who's absolutely farmed as shit. You blink, call them with the blade mail. You kill yourself. Doesn't matter. Your team is there to kill them, and they just did like half health damage to themselves.
The only drawbacks I'm looking at is you want to be a strength model usually.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really low range. You almost need a blink dagger to make this spell effective.
100%.
Or something else, yeah.
And I don't know. What's the cooldown? Cooldown 11 seconds. That's not really a factor.
3-second duration. It's basically 8 seconds of downtime.
I'd say I could agree with above Aether Remnant.
All right.
I think
At
it's above
most.
Aether Remnant at most. Yeah. That's
Used to have 100% win rate with it. No longer. It's like 83, but it's still my highest win rate ability. So I'm
There you
biased.
go.
I'll admit it.
Yeah.
Next up, Berserker's Blood.
You get baited into this ability sometimes on some heroes.
Sean, you were the last one to get baited by this
Well,
ability.
no, he was on a Huskar,
Yeah.
which is fair.
I
He
was
played
on a
Huskar minus, like what? It was like Huskar minus your first
Huskar
ability.
with Geminate attack.
Yeah, and you still lost.
Yeah.
We still lost.
We'll blame Bennett for that one, though.
That was a grief to game.
Shoutouts.
Berserker's Blood. Yeah, it's one of those.
Shout out Cliffy Poos.
You have to be on a strength model.
Shoutout Devil.
Shout out Devil.
Yeah, you have to be on a strength model.
Yeah, you have to be on a strength model to make this even
Viable.
viable. Yeah, I'd say.
You can go brazy, though.
Yeah, you can go pretty hard with this if you pair it up with some attack modifiers. It's good. A tank build with this ability is not really as good. It's kind of a bait.
It is
a
bait. That's bait.
If you think I'm going to take this and I'm not
If
going
you're
to die
trying
in
to
a
tank up,
you're
this is
baiting
not your
yourself.
spell. This
Yeah.
is not what you want.
It's funny, though, because people think it is.
Yeah.
Like, they think it's
They'll
dispersion.
go Marcy and be like, I'm going to go,
You're not actually going to be tanky
go
with this
Berserker's
spell.
Blood on Marcy.
It gives you nothing. You're already
Tank
dead.
it
It's low-key kind of probably generally picks 2 to 4, even though it's always first picked
I
or
think-
second picked.
I think it's generally 1 to 2 for sure. I think it's almost always first picked in the first round.
Yeah.
Definitely not making it through the second round.
I could see this going in the bottom of generally 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's better than Acorn.
I really don't like seeing it over Astral Spirit though. That almost doesn't look right to me.
Really?
Really?
That doesn't look right to me.
So should we
70%
move
strength
Astral to 1 to 2, even though it's not?
Yeah.
Your
It's
carry
not 1 to 2
mindset
though.
is
Astral
not-
is it almost
As a carry.
People second pick Astral sometimes on some builds.
Most people don't want to play.
You can throw Astral
Yeah.
Spirit on almost any character.
That's why
that's
it
playing
almost.
carry.
That's why it
Berserker's
almost
Blood,
is
you
1
don't-
to 2.
You have to be strength hero.
Yeah.
I'd say Berserker's Blood though in a draft. We're looking at the lobby. It never makes it past round 2. It's the worst. Generally picks 1 to 2.
All it's giving you is attack speed, some magic resist, and then a bunch of health regen.
HP for maximum.
Yeah. I agree with Joel. I think it's low, picks 1 to 2. I know Sean's paying to see it over
I really
Astral.
don't like to
I
see it
know.
over Astral, but
You gotta
But
make a
think
line
about this,
somewhere.
you get an armlet or whatever on a strength hero, and all of a sudden it does something. So,
yeah. All right, I could let that one go.
Joel, next up, we have your favorite ability in the game, I think.
Oh, it's definitely first picked.
Is this your favorite ability? Over
It's
Hook?
definitely no. I
I
don't
Top
think
think
5.
Hook's better.
it's definitely like top 2. I think it's
Top
second.
2?
I think it's
second.
I think Hook number 1, and then definitely Black Hole. Because if you hit a 5-man Black Hole, there's nothing that feels better than hitting a 5-man Black Hole and seeing the entire team just disappearing off the map.
The dopamine hit of Black Hole is
There's
probably
nothing
the
better.
highest
Oh,
of
100%.
any ability.
Yeah.
The ceiling for Black Hole is the whole team is dead. That's
Yeah.
the ceiling
Yeah.
for Black Holes. You just gave your team 4 seconds of hitting the entire team with them not doing anything. Cracked. And you're also
It is.
doing 200 pure damage for 4 seconds.
Per second, yeah.
Yeah, 800 pure damage done to them. So it's
Gotta be first pick.
It's got to be first picked, and it is.
It
It is. It never makes
And
it to
Joel
second
is the
round,
one
and
that
I'll
first
be the
picks
one to
it.
pick
Yeah.
it. So
Absolutely.
I think it's probably not over Aftershock, but I think it might be over Atrophy.
I think it is. I think it's second in that bit in that.
Yeah, depending
I
on
think
what
it
kind
actually
of
could
character
be the
you're
top
playing.
first pick.
Raw power level wise, I'd say it's over Atrophy.
You think it's over Aftershock or no, Sean?
I think it's.
no.
I think it's between there. Like it's
Yeah.
bouncing
Yeah,
between
I
there
think it's-
somewhere.
it's
But
below
I'm happy to
Aftershock
put
still.
it there. Aftershocks very
Yeah,
good.
I mean, yeah, Hole is just like, you get a refresher and a BKB.
It's game winning. You could be
It's-
50 minutes into
Yeah.
a game and you walk in and hit a fucking 4-man hole.
can
Before
bring
you
it
hit 4
back.
man, it's done.
Even holding the one carry that means
Yeah.
something on the enemy team.
Especially
wins
if you have
the
a
game.
refresher and you're like, I'll just waste one hole on the carry. Don't even care. He's out of
Yeah.
position a little, just hole him.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You know,
it's
like,
crazy.
yeah.
Crazy ability.
Alright.
All right, next up we have Blade Dance. Sean, you're more the person who picks Blade Dance than anyone else here.
Blade Dance is kind of, I mean, it's nothing crazy.
Crit. It
But,
just gives you a crit,
yeah,
built-in
yeah.
crit.
It's basically a Chrysalis.
Yeah.
High
Like-
chance.
It does have a 35% chance,
So 35, 190, what's Chrysalis?
and Chrysalis is
30,
30% chance
160.
160s. It's
So
a
worse.
little bit.
Little worse.
It's better.
It's a little bit better.
Oh,
than
sorry,
Chrysalis.
a little better. Yeah, sorry. Chrysalis is a little worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not one of those spells you're going to take over a lot of the other passives for a carry.
But 4th round pick,
I'd say this spell
you're picking it.
Yeah, you are.
So I think that it's generally 2 to 4.
definitely in that column.
Agreed.
Below Arena. Below
I'll
a
point out
mere
it's a row,
alacrity.
not a column.
Column, sorry.
Row.
Row, sorry.
I say it's near
Yeah.
Arcane Curse.
I think
Alacrity
it's. I think it's
area.
worse than Astral.
Yeah, I think it's worse than
Yeah,
Astral.
worse than Astral.
I've seen people first pick. It's always a grief if they do that.
It actually can be really good on an illusion character.
It's true. It's tech.
I think it's above Alacrity.
It's techie.
I think it's above Alacrity. It's really, yeah.
It's
I
one
like
of
it
the
there.
worst carry passives. Though.
Yeah, it's not
It's
great.
got to be one of the worst, right?
Yeah, it's
It's
nothing
built-in
nothing
crystal.
crazy.
Next up, very similar, Blade Fury.
Broken with some abilities.
We just got clapped by Blade Fury Overpower
Yes,
recently,
that's-
so
attack
an
damage
insane
and Blade
combo.
Fury is an
Yeah.
insane combo. So and it usually is picked because it is a BKB.
the game where I played Earth Spirit recently, I had Exorcism and that, and Dark Pact, and I was basically invulnerable.
Yeah, it's really good. It's flexible.
Yeah,
Really good on a tank build that you're just trying to survive.
Blade Fury is always good in lane,
Good in lane,
good
yeah.
with movement speed,
Good with move speed.
has a shard.
The shard is kind of a meme, but it does have a
I'm
shard.
just saying that in itself
It does
is
have,
valuable.
yeah. It's upgradable with shard, which is nice.
I think it goes generally picks 1 to 2,
Mhm.
meaning that it's almost always 2, not usually for it, but below Avalanche.
Definitely below Avalanche.
I agree.
I think it's better than Acorn Shot and Berserker's Blood.
I agree with that. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd put it above Acorn.
All right.
I like
not
that.
above Avalanche, or would you put it above Avalanche?
Not above Avalanche though.
Yeah.
It's yeah. It's
I
not
will
that.
say, Blade Fury Teleport also is very
Under-
good.
yeah.
I use that like multiple
Sure, you can
times.
escape a lot of shit with that.
Yeah, which is like same with Rage or whatever, but we'll get to Rage. So, next up, Joel, we're gonna defer to you. It's
Seriously.
Blast Off.
It's broken.
Yeah,
The fact that is a stun to it is insane. It's a great ability. Huge damage. You level it early, jump on someone, you're blowing them up. It's a great support ability. Also, movement if you need it for anything.
yep.
It's got that. Even just escaping. All of a sudden, you suicide low ground. You're low. Doesn't matter. You took 20% health, self-health. You were already low. You run away.
Yeah.
I think it's...
Current HP self damage is way better.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it's... really high, generally 2 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
Really high, generally 2 to 4.
I don't think it's 1 to 2.
I don't know if it makes 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Like you usually, if you are second,
25-second cooldown at max.
If
It is
you-
a very high cooldown.
if you're second picking this, the rest of the lobby's looking rough. Usually,
Yeah.
Well,
if you're second
You
pick,
can
but
combo it with stuff too. Like if
Yes.
you have another stun and you blast off in and then stun them, follow up.
Yeah.
That's really good.
it is. But I'm trying to see what's in generally 1 to 2. Does it beat any of that stuff?
I
Not
think,
really.
I think it's over
Maybe.
like battery assault. personally.
Yeah, like I don't think it beats this stuff. Does it beat it? Does it beat generally 2 to 4 top?
No.
I'd say it's
Probably not.
It's better than Battle Trance at least, right?
definitely better than Battle Trance.
100%. I think it lies. I think it's a better stun I think it's right there between Berserker's Blood and Aether Remnant.
I think Aether Remnant's better.
Or,
Personally.
sorry, Berserker's Call.
I think Aether Remnant's better as well.
Then do you put it higher than Aphotic Shield?
I put it just over Aphotic Shield, barely.
There we go.
I think so.
And I don't even love that. I almost put it below it.
But it's better
Because of the
battery
25-second cooldown at max. You have to put
I know.
4 levels into this spell, and it's still a 25
But
second
how many
cooldown.
times has it gone hard?
It is insane.
How many times has it been hard where
If
you
you-
suicide
if you're
and kill,
level-
double kill?
If you're level 3 in lane and you get this spell to level 2 and
Yeah.
you jump on
Half
somebody,
their health?
300 damage.
If you hit both heroes as well, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you're gold.
And
You
the
can-
stun, 1 second stun?
Yeah.
I think it's there. I would argue a little higher, but I don't mind it there. I think that's a reasonable response.
Yeah. I mean, you pick it more than anyone else,
Exactly.
but yeah, I think that's a reasonable play.
I like that.
Next up is Blinding Light. Joel, you had some good moments with this today.
Yeah.
It's
This
kind
is-
of weird. It's techie.
It's basically a throwing ability, honestly. It's almost always unpicked.
The knockback is pretty decent though. Like anything
Yeah.
that disrupts.
I used it a
movement.
couple times and it was good, and it was like, yeah. The thing is, though, cast range on it is garbage. If you're not playing Caudal and you don't have his ult,
It's
you are
true.
never casting this spell unless you are on
knock
top of them.
someone
If
back,
you don't have
yeah.
a way to get in like I didn't, you are not casting this spell with any effect at all besides pushing them away
Yeah.
if they're running at you. So I think it basically goes situationally reasonable, maybe the very last one.
I agree.
Honestly,
I
like,
agree.
I think it goes
It's
almost
low tier.
unpicked.
Below Arcanora.
Actively bad unless pairing, like basically, like it's
It was your fourth
unpicked.
pick, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there was garbage in the lobby.
And the mischance is pretty irrelevant.
Yeah.
I think the damage is pretty bad, and I don't know. I mean, it's we got the one game where the guy played Caudal mid, just played Caudal,
It looked
Yeah.
broken.
and it looked fucking insane.
But he was
Yeah,
playing
you have
Caudal.
to have the spirit
Spirit
form.
Yeah.
So
So
he probably had an Aether Lens too. So he was blinding lights were super far range.
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll say. I mean, it's probably better than Arcane Aura, though, right?
I'd put it just above Arcanora.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. All right, next up, it's Queen of Plane Blink, which is just Blink. They're both Blink, which is weird.
So we have Blink and Blink.
Blink and Blink.
The
We'll do
second
Quap.
Blink is better. For sure.
Well, Quap Blink's better
Yeah.
because it's
Absolutely.
Lower cooldown,
further range.
right?
I think the
cooldown is the
similar.
same.
Is it
Yeah.
same? That started at what,
Verify
18
that.
and went to 6?
Yeah.
12 to 6.
12 to 6, and the other was what, 18 to 6?
12 to 6.
Was it both 12 to 6?
Yeah, they're both the same cooldown.
Quap's
Same
more
mana,
mana.
65 versus
50.
50. So
It's-
then Quaps is worse.
No, the range is better on Quap.
It's a little bit,
Yeah.
1300 versus 1200 at
a
max.
little bit more mana.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. It
It's
also
really
has
the shard.
upgrade,
The shard
right?
is the biggest
shard
difference.
is nuts.
That is sharp. Yeah.
The Sonic Boom silence is pretty cracked.
It's very
I
good.
think it's first pick.
It's Blink's always first pick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
usually.
I like it first
It's-
pick. You can pair it with so
Yeah.
many different things.
Also, it's just like in some abilities, in some lobbies, no one can contest you.
Yeah.
If there's like
Yeah.
a limited stun
Yeah.
lobby and you get a
Yeah.
blink, you won't die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Even
as
on
a
an
pulse
AM,
five.
you get
yeah.
a Blink as an AM and you're laughing, you're walking around throwing stuns, doing whatever. So I honestly think both of those Blinks almost go beside each other
Yes.
at the top of generally 1 to 2. I almost think they're better than Assassinate.
I think they're
Just
in this
generally.
category.
You think they're first pickable?
I do. How often have you seen a second pick blink, Joel? Be
Yeah,
honest.
it
very,
it's true.
very rare.
definitely.
I like
yeah.
it in first pick at the very bottom.
Yeah.
Very worst first pick, 100%. It almost always gets first pick. It's not priority picked.
And then anti-mage
But
blink right
Same
behind
shit.
it.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the
Right-
shard upgrade,
right behind it.
but
It's just a blink.
it's just blink.
And then we have Blink Strike.
Little
just
different.
fine.
Worse.
Little different
A
story.
little worse.
Radius is
targeted.
Yeah.
You have to
throwback,
target a unit.
Ricky used to have like a 350 bonus range talent, and it was insane. But they got rid of that.
Yeah, now it's just
It's pretty bad.
900 cast range.
Hitting them from behind is
2 charges.
not relevant.
Nah,
I don't know.
barely any slow at all. I'd put it like
Situational or 2
It's
to 4?
gone crazy sometimes on some heroes.
I
that
think
need
it's
to
still
get
in
there.
the 2 to
Kunkka
4.
recently had it. That's
It's
just
true.
blinked to us and ate us alive.
yeah.
Um,
It's good mobility on characters that need to
exactly.
stick on people.
I
Probably
think it's
2 to 4 then, yeah.
yeah, generally 2 to 4 below battery assault. Is it better than arena?
I think it's slotting in somewhere behind Astral Imprisonment.
Yeah, I think it's better than Blade Dance.
It always gets picked before Blade Dance. Yeah,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah. I'd say it's just
there.
just behind
Yeah.
Astral
Perfect
Imprisonment.
little home for
I
it.
Yeah,
don't mind
that looks
that.
good.
I don't mind that.
Next up is Bloodright. This is one of those abilities.
I like this spell.
You do. Oh, Sean is like the one who's like.
Used to be better than when it was pure damage.
Guys, pick Bloodright. It's still not picked yet.
It is a super 6-second duration on the silence when that hits.
Yeah.
It is a long silence in
but
a large AoE.
It requires some setup.
It does need setup.
It's not like you can just pop it on someone and they get hit.
However, when I played with this ability twice, you realize how big the cast range is.
It's
Yeah.
huge.
You click it and you go, holy crap, I'm not even near the fight and I can throw it in the dead center of the fight. 1,500 cast range.
It's huge.
Insane.
Mm-hmm.
If anything's happening, you can usually get it off with some capacity to force them to move in some way or get it off. Not crazy damage or anything. The
No.
silence is
340,
good.
yeah, it's reasonable.
Sean's right. The pure damage version was way better.
Oh yeah, I think it's now generally 2 to 4,
Agreed.
and it's kind of the same area as
mid.
Blink Strike.
Yeah, it's mid.
Like it's worse. It's better. Oh, it's better than Arena. Better than Battle Trance. Is it better than Battery Assault? That's where I'm at. What
No.
about you guys?
I think it's worse than Astral.
I think it's
personally.
below Astral as well,
Yeah.
actually.
Which
It
is
just
funny.
needs setup.
That's true.
And like honestly, I've seen it go unpicked, which is rare. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
People kind of sleep on the Bloodright.
yeah.
It did get nerfed.
It did get nerfed. Oh, so next up is Bloodlust, and we kind of already talked about this with Alacrity, but this is definitely the better version because it's way longer. You get the self bonus, which can be absolutely broken,
Yeah, the self
and
bonus
you
is
get
huge.
percent-based move speed. So
You can give it to teammate 30%. Like that's a lot.
30-second duration.
30 seconds. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, it's. I mean, 99% of the time, if the person on your team isn't in your call who's picked it, you're not getting Bloodlust. But if we're coordinating Bloodlust, it's probably generally picks 2 to 4 high, though.
Really?
I think.
I think it's lower 2 to 4.
Oh my god.
Where do you think, Sean?
I'm in 1 to 2 with Bloodlust.
No way.
100%.
Oh my.
I
think
mean, it is broken.
I think you pick Bloodlust second pick almost always if you have something else already.
100
On a
attack
right-click
speed
character.
self bonus is
Bizarre.
fucking insane.
That's just bizarre.
With the
It's
bonus attack
insane.
speed, that's 180.
It's so much better than Berserker's Blood. It's not even a comparison.
That's true. That's
But
true.
I was honestly comparing it to like Astral Spirit, and I'm like, they get
Still.
picked similarly.
It's better than Astral, I think. Yeah. you're
13%
right.
move speed. 180 attack speed on yourself is absolutely nuts.
For 30 seconds.
Is
It's like you gave yourself a
absolutely
moon
nuts.
shard.
30 seconds is crazy.
30-second moon shard.
Yeah.
Like,
It is
It's so
wild
good.
in some heroes.
and bonus percent move speed.
so
So,
we don't ever see it get.
I was
insta-picked.
literally looking up near Arc Lightning.
No way.
I'm not
No
even kidding.
way. I'm thinking if anything would be
but,
down here.
but Joel, you don't play with this ability.
Yeah.
Sean.
But
moves
it's never.
Look
But
at
it's
this.
never first picked.
It's first
never,
picked.
never
I've-
for. No one's ever picked this ability alone, just first picked unless they're on an ogre or some crap and they're like mental. No one's ever first picking Bloodlust in their life. So they're second picking, and then maybe sometimes it goes
I
to
mean,
third
you
pick.
could first pick Bloodlust.
Yeah, but no one does.
I think it's generally.
1 to 2.
I think it's worse
And-
than Avalanche.
I think it's.
Sean's biased because he only plays core.
It might
but-
be above Acorn Shot. It might be above Acorn Shot. I don't know.
It's definitely
It's
above
definitely
Acorn.
above
Shot,
Acorn,
Joel.
and I'd say it's above Blade Fury.
It's better than Avalanche. I mean, you think it's better than than Assassinate and
Yeah.
Avalanche, right?
I think it's better than
We
Avalanche.
defer to
but
the expert though, Joel. We can't. Like,
I think it's just a really, really good spell, and you can use it on teammates too, and give your teammates buffs.
it is better on yourself, which is why you never get a cast on you.
Yeah.
Random has it, but yeah. Next up, Blood Rage. This is techie.
Yeah, it's very techy.
This can go kind of dirty if you have like a mixed damage build because it's attack speed and spell amp. Like you
It is
pair it with
kinda
like
weird.
Arcane Orb or some shit and it goes kind of nuts, but
But it's always slept on almost.
it is. People think it's bad because it deals damage to you.
But then some random guy will be like pinging it. And he's like, pick this. Pick
Yeah, they
this.
got rid of the mana cost
Which
recently.
is kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of big for it, actually.
It used to be shit when it used to silence you. Remember that?
Yeah, that was really
That was
terrible.
funny. I think it's situationally reasonable, but it's not generally picks 2 to 4. I mean, it's usually picked though.
It usually is picked, but it doesn't have a big effect. Like, we played against it a couple times recently. And I don't.
I think
Yeah.
people don't use it properly, and if you used it really efficiently and well, it could be good. If you throw it on like your spell nuker,
Mm-hmm.
it's good. Usually, I feel like the spell amp is more viable than the attack speed sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the spell amp's close to Flame Cloak when you think about it. Flame Cloak's 35. Blood Rage is 30. You get, like, Laguna Blade. I mean, that is Flame Cloak. But, like, you get one of those, like, nuki alts or something, like Skywrath alt or something, and it goes way harder. I agree.
I like...
techie.
So you think it's in 2 to 4, or do you think it's in the...
I think it's 2 to 4.
Yeah.
But low.
I'd say... above Arcane Curse, right behind Alacrity.
Literally what I was about to say, because it's like Alacrity.
It's a similar spell,
right?
yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'd honestly say it's better than Alacrity.
I'd put it behind Blink Strike.
It's a little more flexible.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's better on nukers, I guess, and
it's a little bit. Yeah, it's flexible. It can be good on spellcasters or right clickers.
Yeah, and again, you can use it on teammates, but no one thinks about that.
Yeah.
Joel's sneezing because
sneezing
cat hair or dog hair. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
Next up. Blur.
Interesting ability.
Blur's kind of fallen off a cliff for me personally. It used to be insanely broken.
Yeah. Used to be good.
On a PA, crazy.
Yeah, the facet makes it actually useful. It's pretty shit now.
Yeah, without the facet, it's quite terrible.
The evasion was really good in the past, but especially the Ags upgrade was nutty. I don't know. It's probably generally still picks 2 to 4, but it's just really fallen off.
It has. It's one of those, like, you're probably going to pick it 3rd to 4th pick.
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting it. Really, you're not looking for this ability ever.
No.
It's usually just there.
I agree.
The eggs reduced, refreshed cooldown.
It doesn't even, like...
cool.
Doesn't even do that anymore. Now it's 50%.
It does refresh the abilities still.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And give a cooldown reduction of 50%. So it can be good that way.
50%.
While active. So...
I'm so low on this spell now.
It's pretty low, though, for me as well.
Generally 2 to 4, probably right around
I think
near
it's,
the end.
Yeah, close to Arcane
Alacrity.
Curse and Alacrity. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say...
It's worse than Blade Dance.
Yeah, worse than Blade Dance. I like it right in between Blade Dance and Alacrity.
If you're a PA, though, it goes way higher.
If you're a PA and you get the Veiled One facet, it's way higher.
We played against a PA with Veiled One facet recently, and it was like, okay, this is fun. I can't target this hero.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, she's untargetable.
Yeah. Next up, this is a banger. Borrowed Time.
Good ability.
I think Borrowed Time is first pick.
Very, very good on a tank build. It's hard to die with this spell.
It's good on any hero, basically.
Yeah, even you can even play it on an Agi core.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to survive.
I guess it's at its worst on an int hero because.
Yeah.
But even then, you get like a second round of spells that maybe you couldn't get otherwise, right?
It's
like,
true.
Yeah. Low cooldown.
Pretty low cooldown, yeah. Usually, I don't know if it's first pick, deny pick, though. Definitely, I don't think it's quite there. Or is it?
Pretty close.
You think it's close to low first pick, deny pick?
Yeah, because for me, like, if you see a strength hero on the enemy team, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to take Borrowed Time from the Primal Beast or whatever, you know? Like,
yeah.
I want to take this Borrowed Time so we don't have to play against dude with Borrowed Time.
You can become a raid boss with this ability.
I think it sits near the line of very end of first pick and the top of generally 1 to 2. I think I would put it above Arc Lightning at the new seed at the top of 1 to 2. I think that it gets through usually the first 4 picks abilities, but is scooped up before the end of the first round. So it's generally the first draft. It's usually gone. Sometimes it might wheel into the second if there's a lot of stuff. But it is crazy.
It's great. To me, it's kind of like Reincarn, though, where it's like if you have a guy with Borrowed Time and you see him in lane, and you're like, we're not ganking this guy.
Yeah.
Like, they're just there. And that's like the ability isn't even doing anything. It's just threatening activation. So, to me, it's like really high value. But I do agree with Joel. It could be put down.
It could be above both blinks, though. It depends on how high we're valuing those 2 blinks.
Sean,
I think
you are the final call here.
I think it's behind the blinks. It's just if you want to keep it in the first pick, deny pick, or if you want to put it at the top of 1 to 2.
You get to make that
Is it
choice.
better than Arc Lightning? That's the question then. Is it better than Arc Lightning?
I think it is.
Is it better than Blink?
No. I think it's only the distinction between which column we're putting it in.
I think it's...
You think it's the
first
top?
pick.
When
I
does
like
it get second picked? That's my
I think
question.
it's there. I think it's sometimes
I
gets
like it
second
there,
pick.
honestly.
Okay.
So it goes there.
I
'cause
think
it
there's
sometimes
usually
does.
other stuff that gets
Yeah.
picked
Yeah.
for it.
Next up, Boulder Smash. We already talked about this one recently.
Boulder Smash.
It can go in the griefing / Earth Spirit abilities category.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, let's just throw
I
it there.
just-
It's
yeah.
mainly unpicked, basically.
Yeah,
'cause
Sean's
they
still
pick.
pulling it up though. I like it. The respect given.
Just don't pick this spell, please.
Not a lot of range at the beginning. You have to max it to kick them far at all, and then at that point, what are you doing maxing this ability?
Yeah, I mean, 99% of the time, if you see an Earth Spirit in like a ranked game, they're using a boulder to kick it at you. They're not kicking a hero. And
Yeah.
if you are picking Magnetize and AD, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And
You're insane.
If
Yeah.
you have Blink, maybe, and this is your 4th round pick, it's like not terrible, it's okay.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a movement ability at all, this is like the biggest throw, and even when you do, it's questionable. So
Yeah.
it's
it has to
definitely-
stay in the that category.
Earth Spirit abilities category.
Yeah, it has to. It has to.
Next up is Boundless Strike.
crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know Joel loves this ability, even though he plays.
That's a
support.
decent crit.
It's chunky.
180
It combos with some stuff.
bonus damage.
It does combo.
Recently, I played against Boundless Strike Glaives. That's pretty good.
One shot
Really
the
good,
entire
yeah.
wave since
Yeah.
Glaives.
The
The
stun.
shard is quite valuable.
The shard is cool. A little
Yeah.
bit of mobility.
Basically a blink dagger almost, when you think about it.
Yep.
I think it's generally picks 2 to 4, but high.
I think it's quite high in 2 to 4.
I think it's probably higher than Blast Off. Or that would be where I'd put it generally.
Just over blast off, really.
Yeah. You think it's higher, or
I think it's near
the
call.
CD is long.
It is a 15-second cooldown.
The stun is short. It's like you use it once in a
It's
fight.
like a combo piece.
But
you
it's
use.
that massive line,
Boom.
though, and you can hit like 3 or 4 people with it if it's the right lineup.
Get kills
Yeah.
that are they're running away. You get the last hit with it. How many times does that happen? Quite a bit.
True.
I think it's near call.
I think it's near call.
Above or below call?
Could be better than bad juju in some scenarios.
I don't think it's better than Bad Juju. personally.
No,
It's hard.
I think it's...
I think it's worse than call, but I love call, so.
I think I can agree with it being below call.
Yeah.
Barely. It kind of pains me to say that. But-
it's hard.
I mean, the shard
does
upgrade
have a
does
shard.
give it, like, yeah. some-
Escape, you know, you can really get away
Honest,
with it.
actually, I changed my mind. I go above call.
Bonk.
I like above call.
There we go.
Alright, next up, this is another Joel ability. It's Brain Sap. Another good shard, too.
Another
actually.
good shard.
Very good shard.
Pairs with some
Pure
good stuff.
damage.
Very good.
Always strong in lane. Basically wins you trades in lane.
Yeah,
Every
you can
100%.
trade with any character.
Throw a
with this
couple
spell.
right clicks out, brain sap them. You're winning the lane right there.
Costs a lot of mana. 1 drawback.
Yes.
I think it's probably picks 2 to 4, but mid.
I think it picks 2 to 4, and I think it's.
It's in the category of blast off, kind of. It's like
yeah,
a laning
I think
spell.
it's a little higher.
Strong laning spell.
Higher than the mid tier stuff, but not getting towards being like crazy good or anything.
Shard is super good.
Shard is super good. You pair it with something like Tether
Is it
or
better-
Survive, like Spirit Siphon, Brain Sap. You know, you get some survivability going.
You think it's better than Battery Salt?
I'd say, yeah.
Okay. You think it's better than Blast Off?
Probably not.
Okay.
I think it is, honestly.
I think it's close.
I think blast off's...
Joel plays with
kind
it
of
more than anyone.
Eighth and Remnant.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Blast off just has such a long cooldown.
But it has a stun.
It
Jumps,
does stun.
the surprise factor.
I guess, yeah.
The AoE.
I don't mind it. I like it there.
When
Brain
they're
Sap's-
running away and you
Brain
brain
Sap's
sap them
point
and you're
target.
like, I don't have any other spell
Yeah.
slows or whatever, you're like, this sucks.
Yeah. You use it more. I like it there.
Yeah.
1 point target, AoE of Blast Off. That's my reasoning.
Yeah. The shard upgrade's kind of negligible. Alright, we next up is Bramble Maze. This is kind of an interesting one.
High cooldown,
It
but
is.
really a solid ability, especially if you decide to max it and like you're decent at using it. All of a sudden, you hit a guy in one, and then someone runs into another. It's 5 seconds of disable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Bramble Maze,
You,
it used to be like first pickable.
yeah.
And then they kind of, I don't know, they've nerfed it or something, and now it's probably generally picks 2 to 4.
Yeah, you're probably not going to max it early. You're probably just going to throw one ability point in it.
Yeah.
Unless you have
I think it's
rearm or
in 2 to
something.
4, yeah. Rearm
Yeah.
can be kind of weird with that. or a bad juju could kind of be
Yeah.
not. I don't know. It's not insane.
It's not insane. Like, it's
not
such
really
a big cooldown.
Area denial is
you know?
always good, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah, that's what's good. So you come into a fight, you can throw that down, stop people from coming in, and also
High ground
affect-
defense.
Yeah.
Throw
Also,
that down.
the other thing is, if you have a stun, you can set up your own route, which is like
Yeah.
you can't really do that on Willow unless you're using your 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably. I mean, Joel, this is more your thing, but you think it's better than Brain Sap or no?
It's definitely in generally 1 to 4 or 2 to 4. It's definitely better than a lot of the bottom tier stuff. 100%. It's definitely beating the mid range, and then is it better? I think it's better than
It is
battery
a
assault.
22-second cooldown. That is the one thing.
Yeah, I think it's better than battery assault. But looking at the stuff above battery assault, it's all looking pretty good compared to Bramble, you know.
Yeah.
But like if I saw Bramble and I see that other stuff, I'm just like, oh, I'd probably rather pick Bramble over all that other stuff that's kind of like garbage 2 to 3 to 4 picks.
Yeah.
Like a Bramble is like a solid 2 to 3 pick in the depending on the lobby, mainly third pick.
I think ideally you go first pick stun, second pick Bramble.
Bramble.
And then you have like, Stormhammer into Bramble.
You almost just want to pick Fortune's End though when you pick Bramble. Or
Curse Crown.
Curse Crown, because then you get the shard.
The shard
and it's
upgrades
It's
it.
quite good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just so you're like.
But you always get the 4th pick, Curse Crown.
Yeah, Curse Crown.
Yeah, Curse Crown's down there.
Like, that's always... You're really not getting them unless you're pairing it with Bramble Maze.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
next up, this is a Sean ability, if I've ever seen one.
Damage reduction.
Breathe Fire.
Decent.
It has that hidden value of the damage reduction, 30%.
Winning the lane, in a nutshell, I
Yeah.
think, is what this one spells out.
Pretty solid. Can secure your range creeps.
11-second duration of the reduction.
And 11 seconds cooldown.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it's 100% uptime of 30% reduction of the enemy.
At max, yes.
At max, yes.
Low
Only
mana
3
cost.
And to be fair, only 3 seconds not up during the 14-second level 1. Like, it's not... You have 1 second off each. It's not like it's like a 22-second cooldown here.
Yeah.
It's a 14-second level 1 cooldown.
It falls off after the laning stage, I think. But it's really good at farming.
It's got some
early.
decent...
As a
late
lane
game.
clear, like one of those lane clearing spells, I think it's up there.
Yeah, you throw it on a core, you're happy to
Yeah.
second pick this
It's
after
pretty
you
good.
get like a good passive.
It's not in 1 to 2 though. It's not that good.
No.
No,
So
not
we're gonna
close
have to
enough.
throw it like mid range 2 to 4.
Yeah, I think it's probably worse than the hard disables, personally.
I think it's worse than Arena.
It's pretty close, yeah.
Pretty
I think
close.
it's worse than Arena.
Really?
Battle Trance, I think
think we're overvaluing Arena slightly.
I think Battle Trance is... It's better than Battle Trance.
Sean, you play with these abilities more than anyone.
I think we need to...
I've really stopped liking Battle Trance, but I'd put Breathe Fire just over Battle Trance.
It's not better than Battery Assault?
Not better than Battery Assault. Battery Assault's slightly better.
Yeah. Next up is a classic. It's Bristleback.
Paired almost always with Quill Spray.
Basically,
Or deny
kind of
pick from
griefing.
you.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of griefing if you get it without Quill Sprays.
Does cause some drama in the draft if you pick it though, and you force the enemy to pick it from you because they don't want you to have it on a bristle or something.
Usually you want to pick the Quill Spray first.
Agreed.
Yes.
It's like the call versus the counter helix
Yeah.
Which
debate.
does hurt Bristle's back's rating in the chart a little bit.
If you get both, though, it's nuts. Sean, you did like a 1v5 Sven recently
Yeah, it's
with
really good.
Bristleback, and it's
Yeah.
crazy. The eggs is nuts.
The eggs is what you're looking for, really, with this.
But you really need Quill Spray.
Yeah, you have to have Quill Spray, which really brings
I think it makes
ability
it
down on
situationally
the list.
reasonable at top, right?
Yeah, it has to be a
But
situation.
it's always picked. There's never a game where that doesn't go pick though. Usually, because
True.
some random tank strength.
But if you don't
hero
have
will pick
quills,
it up.
it's just like a.
But a strength
doesn't do much.
strength will pick it up. Some random strength hero picks it up.
Yeah, they pick it up to
It
deny
just
pick
takes
you.
slightly longer to die. That's about it.
I think it's like here. I don't know. It's probably better than Blinding Light. What do you think,
I think
Sean?
Yeah, I'd say it's better than Blinding Light.
With eggs with quills,
I'd
think
say it's
bottom
almost-
2 to 4. Is it better than
Really?
acid spray?
I think it's moving up pretty high in a situationally reasonable.
It's probably not as good as
'Cause-
Ball Lightning, though.
But if you assemble it with the quills, it's fucking
That's true.
really
I
good.
guess it would be like top then.
So if you get that situation where you can get the quills,
yeah.
it's
No,
very,
it's
very
true.
I'm happy
True.
with it there because I was gonna put it. Yeah.
Next up is bulldoze.
I'm gonna see some stats
I like this
on this
spell.
because this spell is
Yeah, this spell's interesting.
70% status
You
resistance.
cannot get stunned with this spell up.
Status resist is the big deal.
50% uptime. Pretty
Yeah.
crazy, especially on a core carry. You're just activated every fight. Whatever they use on you, it's half the time. You're laughing.
Good on a range
More than
core
half.
specifically, I
Yeah,
think.
I
'cause
love it
they're
on a range
slow,
core. Yeah.
And then you pop
Yeah.
this, and all of a sudden you can like run at them.
Harder to kill with the status resist. I'd put this like
But it's not
It's
really
low-
picked.
Yeah, it's
It's
gotta
sometimes undrafted. We've seen it.
usually,
undrafted.
usually as like a pause one, you're probably gonna get your like right click passives and then an alt. You're gonna get one right click passive, an alt, and then you're probably gonna pick up a bulldoze like third or fourth
Ugh.
pick.
Yeah.
So for me, it goes same kind of like Blade Dance, Blink Strike, Blur, like that kind of area.
Yeah, I think it's better than Blur. I don't know if it's better than Blade Dance. It's kind of close.
Yeah, I would put it.
It's damage versus strength, movement speed, and tank. Stash.
It can be really good in some games.
I think
though.
it's above Blade Dance. I think.
Where
movement
do you
speed's
put it then?
overrated.
Where do you put it?
I would actually put it above Blink Strike. I'd put it just below Blood Right, maybe.
All right.
I don't hate that.
Yeah.
Like it deserves a reasonable spot.
I mean, when you have someone who is status resist and you press Fiend's Grip on them, and then Joel's like, "Why was that 1 second?" And we're like, "Oh, bulldoze. Yeah, it fucking counters you.
Yeah,
It's really
nice.
sucky." So, yeah. Next up is Bulwark.
Bulwark.
This has got to be pretty
Kind of a weird
high, but it's
It's
kind
almost
of fallen off a
griefing
bit.
somewhat sometimes when your teammate first picks Bulwark.
It's definitely griefing if you first pick Bulwark. Don't do that.
Yes, do not insta-pick this spell.
Like, I've
But
seen
on a
someone do
tank,
that.
on an Ags build where you're going something with some strength modifier or something, it does go hard.
It's really annoying having a guy with Bulwark up front with other tank abilities.
Yeah. It's especially good against ranged heroes.
Really, really good against ranged heroes. Is where it's really going to shine.
I think it's probably generally picks 2 to 4, but high,
Really.
personally. What do you think?
It's a similar spell. It is. I'd say it's high 2 to 4. I'd agree with that, actually.
I feel like it's one of those spells that you get knowing you're getting Ags.
Yeah.
You get it on an Ags.
You want to get eggs with this spell.
Yeah, and so it's a little slower of a spell, doesn't do too much early game.
Well,
Yeah,
you
you
don't
basically
maxing
don't
it.
have it in lane.
Yeah, you get one
Yeah.
level of this in lane, maybe.
Then all of a sudden you come out of the jungle with an Ags and you're throwing 4 guys around, pushing them in front of you, and you get a heart or something, and
Yeah.
you're ungillable.
Yeah.
Yeah, in some lobbies it's really, really insane. Or some pairings especially.
I would put it... This is a tough one, because it's not the most broken tank spell in the game.
No.
So I would put it... I'm looking like mid-range 2 to 4.
I think it's mid to higher. Like, I don't think it's better than Battery Salt, but Breathe Fire,
Just
Battle
above Breathe
Trance
Fire?
in there.
I like it above Breathe Fire because it's like probably in the top 5 or so abilities for a tank build.
Agreed.
So being in that kind of
Also, don't pick it with Bristleback and think you're going to be invulnerable. I've seen people be like, Bulwark, Bristleback, I'm never going to die.
Yeah,
You're still going to die. There's a thing called Break.
yeah, you're gonna get
Just so
counted.
you know.
You will die.
That is a thing that a lot of people do not remember is the more passives you pick as a melee creep, the better Silver Edge is.
Exactly.
Next up, we have Burning Spear. Sean, you recently played a Huskar basically with Burning Spear.
It's a pretty poor spell.
It's pretty bad.
Very
Almost
poor
only
spell,
pairs
actually.
with Berserker's Blood because
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
high attack speed.
You almost need Berserker's Blood for this spell to even work. So I'd say it's definitely in the... Honestly, it's
Situation?
barely in the situationally reasonable category.
I think
barely.
I think it goes in unpicked. If you don't have Berserker's Blood, no one else in the game is really picking that up like most of the time.
Yeah,
goes
it might
unpicked.
be actively
Actually, yeah,
bad
I
in
actually
most
like
pairings.
that. I
Yeah.
like that.
It's like
kinda-
another
it's
thing with
almost-
Arcane. Like,
yeah,
it's
just like
kinda-
Arcane Orb.
Yeah,
I've seen...
I put it above Arcane Orb.
I
but-
think...
Really?
Well, Arcane Orb
I'd
is
say
pure.
it's below.
And this is
Definitely.
magic. I remember there was one game where we had a warlock on our team, and he picked poison attack, burning spears, like he was gonna go hard, and he did literally nothing because you use it twice, and all of a sudden you just have no health.
You start dying. Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, banger ability, Burrow Strike.
Movement, escape, stun, everything you want. Higher cooldown, but it's pretty low even at level 1.
Yeah. Used to be nuts with the Ags upgrade.
Yes.
Yeah.
From when it used to like triple its fucking range.
Yes.
They got rid of that. I think it's probably in generally picks 1 to 2. I don't think it's first pick deny pick.
No.
But it's close.
I think it's generally picks 1 to 2, and I think it's...
Is it better than Avalanche?
Yeah, I was literally putting it in that area of the stun. The movement it gives you 100% is better than Avalanche. Is it better than Assassinate? Yes, because of the movement. Is it better than Bloodlust? Yes, because of the movement.
Yeah.
Is it better than Borrowed Time and Arc Lightning? It's not quite beating them for me. So
We're
that's
getting too high.
Just above Bloodlust because the movement.
Well, it's almost better than Arc Lightning.
It almost is better, like because of the movement.
I'd put it over Arc Lightning.
It's more generically broken, I think.
Yeah. How much
like
is
that.
the 750 cast range max? Is a good amount of range.
Yeah, you get a Blink Burrow Strike. You're getting in. You're getting busy. It's good.
2 second stun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
I think people still first pick it too much, though. I will say that. Like, people pick it,
It's
and then they
you
have...
need it on a strength.
Yeah, like if you have it on an int hero and you Burrow Strike in, you are dead.
You're dead.
It doesn't matter
Yeah.
I'm stunned for 1.8.
Yeah, you need
So-
You have to commit pretty hard to use this spell.
Yeah. Next up is Bushwhack. Which is okay.
An interesting stun, tree dependent.
Yeah.
Pretty good damage.
Yeah.
2 second stun.
Someone maxes it, and all of a second they're throwing out bushwhacks left, right, and center. You're like, oh wow.
Hard to hit though.
Yes.
Yeah, you just run away from a tree.
14-second cooldown on all levels.
Yeah.
I think we're still overloading 2 to 4 a bit, even though it's a.
It should be the
It
medium.
has to be in there.
It
does have to be
it
in
should
there.
be the high. Most spells are in it.
It has to be in there. It can't be.
It
below
is in
that.
there. It is in there for sure. And I think it's lower end.
Similar to Arcane
It's
Curse.
Not that valuable of a stun, but it has value over. I'd say like Blink Strike.
Yeah, I was gonna
area.
say Blink Strike was where my cutoff
Really?
would be.
Like that area.
I think it's better than Blink Strike.
I would.
I think so.
I would put it under
Really?
arena.
I'd have to hit this thing on a
Astral.
tree. This thing does nothing in the middle of the river. Nothing. Unless you have
Whoa.
Bushwhack.
Yeah.
Unless you have Acorn.
Or
Acorn,
Acorn,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Plant
you
a tree with the
what do you mean,
ironwood
you're planting
branch.
GG trees. Yeah.
Bing.
Yeah, but
do you
that's like...
No, I'm just kidding.
GG trees,
Yeah.
This ability is so situational, though. It actually actively does nothing, though, in parts of the game.
I understand.
That
but
is true.
It really hurts it bad.
No, Sean's right. It probably is lower.
It's way down, guys. I think it's fucking almost below Anchor Smash.
But you're always in trees in the lane. So the laning stage
the
is
lane,
good.
Yeah. It's bad mid, obviously.
But it still takes a while to... you throw it, you have to hit it. It's a skill shot.
How many times, though, have we had a 3-man bushwhack? And it's like, wow, that bushwhack just hit 3 guys. I think it's better than these, like, crappy passives at the bottom of 2 to 3. Or 2 to 4. But, I don't know.
I mean, Sean makes a good point, though, where it's like...
I think it's
there's
just
a
below
time
Alacrity.
in a
It's the
fight-
highest I could go.
There's a time in a fight where you can't
Physically
hit
do
anyone,
anything with
and
it.
it just
Yeah.
does nothing.
Yeah.
So.
They're pushing high ground,
Yeah.
Did you say
There's
above or
nothing
below?
just below Alacrity. I'd
Below,
put.
okay. Yeah. Next up is Call Down, which is
That's
kind
a
of a
good one.
meme.
It's
It's
got
like always unpicked.
Unpicked or, like, last picked by the last person. It's...
Yeah.
They-
It's...
His other abilities are so broken, they gave him a dumb ult. So it was just like, it's... Even the
Yeah.
new change doesn't make it good. It's still bad.
No.
Basically, situationally reasonable as a last pick if there's nothing else on the board.
It's better than Psionic Trap or Fiend's Gate maybe sometimes, or like...
Fiend's Gate's growing on
Yeah,
me.
no, Fiend's Gate, I shouldn't have said that, but I think
Yeah.
it's definitely
Yeah.
not in generally picks 1 to 2, or 2 to 4, sorry. I think it's... That's probably like mid situation.
Just below Ball Lightning.
Yeah.
Just below Ball Lightning, yeah.
I'd rather have Ball
Barely.
Lightning on most heroes,
Yeah.
Probably.
even on a non-int,
Probably.
which is surprising.
Call down a clear creep wave. That's about it.
There you go.
Yeah. Next up is Call the Wild Hawk.
It's a weird one.
Very weird.
Never used it. I've never drafted this ability in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when it was just a bird that you put on the map.
That's the last time I used it.
Yeah.
So it was a bird, you put it on the
I don't
map.
think I've played with it since it roots either. But Sean,
It's
you
pretty
did.
bad overall. You almost have to have like Primal Roar and get like the Drums of Slam to even make it like an ability.
Yeah.
The Egg Shard summoning an additional Hawk.
When is that really?
It's just not really viable.
Yeah. I think it's bottom of situationally reasonable.
I like it down there in situationally
I don't think...
reasonable.
I mean, it is unpicked sometimes, but I don't think it's actively bad.
No, it's not actively bad. I'd say it's...
I think it's the very bottom of situation because I'd almost take every single one of those abilities over Call of the Wild Hawk.
But it roots.
There's a little root there.
Yeah. I mean, would you rather do a little bit of magic damage, give your team a little bit more mana, or have this little root for 0.25 seconds? Because are you maxing this ability? Are you putting points into it to get it to 1 second root, or even 0.5?
It's pretty mid. It's pretty shit.
Yeah, it's just
It is
garbage
quite
enough.
shit.
Yeah. All right, we'll put it in the bottom.
We'll
Yeah, I like it at the bottom.
I'm happy to move.
Next up is Celestial Hammer, which is okay.
It's got some movement built into it. The
Yeah.
shard, it doesn't have a shard. Does it have a shard?
No. Shard Starbreaker. Yeah. It's way better on a Dawn because you get that range
Cast
talent
range,
or whatever,
it's like,
and
yeah,
it's crazy.
actually chucking it.
Yeah. 80%. Yeah, that's nuts. That's crazy. I think it's good at clearing creep waves. And I think if you put it on like a ranged core or a melee core, it's like decent for farming. When you have it on a support, it's like meh.
It's barely decent for farming. If you throw that on a creep wave, you're still going to have to last hit it with your right click probably if you want to actually get the last hits.
It's true.
I'd put it pretty low in 2 to 4.
Yeah.
I'd put it above Bushwhack.
Agreed. I think it's worse than Blade Dance. I think
Worse than Blade Dance.
I think it's in there.
It's just above Blur.
It has movement.
Little
It
bit of
has
movement.
So
slow.
small.
Not a lot
it's
of
so
movement.
small, the movement, Joel.
There's really not a lot of
It
movement.
has slow.
It does.
It is AoE. All those things affect everything in the AoE. So it makes me want to put it above like the shitty passives at the bottom. That of 2 to 4 that just like Blade Dance, you know.
You think it's
Blur,
above Blade Dance behind Blood Rage?
Alacrity, like those ones are just like I'd take a hammer over that.
Yeah, but you don't pick those.
Yeah.
I think it's like
Just behind
There.
it. Yeah, I like
somewhere in there.
that.
Yeah.
I like there.
Somewhere
Yeah.
in there.
next up, one of my favorite spells in Dota, Chain Frost. Chain Frost has gotten better.
Yeah.
I think Chain Frost Shard is actually really good.
The Ice Spire is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everybody gets it because it is
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, you put an Ice Fire on someone and you Chain Frost them and they're by themselves.
It's a huge AoE 25% slow. Also,
Yeah.
Yeah.
750 AoE circle of 75% slow for 15 seconds.
Pretty nuts.
Pretty crazy.
I think it's generally picks 2 to 4.
Yeah.
I don't think it's first or second picked all that often unless there's like really, really not much caster stuff and someone's on a hero.
No, you're only picking this in the first 2 rounds if you're a Lich.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or
I
if you're
see
getting
that.
like a Soul Mine and you're trying to combo it.
True,
It's
true.
like a
Yeah.
really OP combo.
Yeah. I think it's probably like below some of the higher quality stuns we have in here, but above some of the like mid passives, mid spells. Like I think it's like below
Above
Battery Assault.
Below
You
Battery
think it's
Assault.
above?
I think it's above almost.
I think it's above
Oh,
Brambles.
yeah.
I think it throws out a lot of damage.
I almost
in a
think,
team
yeah,
fight.
I think it's near like Aether Remnant.
Like that.
Really?
Yeah, just it's a big damage spell. Some games it does fall flat for sure. You throw it out, it
Sometimes-
just absolutely falls
One
flat.
damage
Yeah,
or one
nothing.
target hit.
Then other times it's like this spell is literally winning the game for
Yeah.
them.
At max, it still does 550 with 1 bounce,
Holy.
That is a nuker.
which is still a lot of damage.
1 bounce. So 2 bounces is 1,100.
Yeah.
It throws out a shitload of damage.
What? You put a Spire down, throw that, that's
Yeah.
that's 2,200
I mean,
damage.
I've played against the Lich where they go Spire, E-Blade you, throw to Chain Frost,
You're
and
dead.
you're just dead.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
dead instantly.
So, yeah. I do think it's higher. I mean, Sean, do you think it deserves to be this high?
It's pretty high up there, but
Is it better than like Boundless Strike?
the ceiling is pretty crazy though. If you get a full Chain Frost off in a team fight, get all 10 bounces,
Someone hits an RP.
it can help you kill people. I'd say I like it there.
Okay. Next up, Bang or Chakra Magic. I think it's first pick, personally.
I don't think it gets first picked. It deserves almost to be first picked, but I think it's generally 1 to 2 at the very top.
Yeah, you want one quality spell to pair with this at least.
If you get this and you don't get a quality spell, your game's griefed.
Kind of, yeah.
But you can cast it on allies. That's my argument.
Ally casting is big.
That is what's saving it.
Even if I have a shit ability, which I've had before, where I have fuck all, I have I don't know, not Boulder Smash literally, but let's see Chaos Meteor, right? You're not going to effectively use the CD reduction on something like Chaos Meteor all that often.
Yeah.
But if you put it on your carry in lane who is spamming quills or is using some sort of farming ability often, all of a sudden you don't need to buy mana boots ever.
Yeah.
And the person in your lane will basically always be at full mana if you remember to use it on your teammates. Shout out to the people who don't use it on their teammates. You have to use it on your teammates to use it effectively. So I think it's, Joel said generally picks 1 to 2 high, but I mean, I would put it next to the Blinks personally even.
I kind of like it. It would be really high in the 1 to 2 for me, or I don't mind it behind the Blinks.
It's to me, it goes in any hero. Even if your strength, even if your
I actually
agility,
like it behind the Blinks. I think
if
used properly, it can
the
be
last
very,
game
very
with
strong.
it, the OD first picked it, and he was 5th pick.
And it was crazy.
He was 5th pick, so I think it could sit there comfortably.
Yeah. Also, the CD reduction is just if you have a really low spammy stun, if you have a magic missile with it, all of a sudden the lane is completely won.
Yeah, it's pretty huge.
Next up, Chakram, or Chakram, I guess would be how it's pronounced. It's okay.
It's
pure.
Yeah, it's pure damage. It does a lot of damage. It's gonna cost you a lot of mana.
I've seen it go unpicked.
It can go unpicked. Overall, this spell is really not going to be picked over a lot of the better alts out there. I'd say, judging off our list so far, though, it's close to Arena's power level.
I was going to say Arena's a good comparison point again. I think it's below Arena, personally. I think it works...
I think so too.
By itself in a vacuum, it's better, but Arena pairs with your team and spells.
It can get more value out of an Arena.
And Chakram is you throw Chakram out and you pull it back.
Yeah.
And then it did damage.
The only thing to note is it's broken in AD, and a lot of times your Chakrams are invisible, which is actually pretty nutty to throw an invisible Chakram.
Yeah, that's true.
But besides that,
or the ones that persist on the ground.
Yeah, they just
and you have 20 spinning Chakrams just sitting in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Very weird. Don't know why that happens. Next up, Banger Stun. Chaos Bolt. Chaos Bolt's got to be pretty high on this.
It's a solid stun, really high max stun, 3.25.
10-second cooldown.
Pretty low CD.
Yeah. 110 mana, pretty low mana cost.
The projectile speed's terrible, so
yeah,
if you're against someone with phase shift or blink or anything, it's kind of...
dodgeable.
Yeah. Kind of slow.
But
I think it's generally either picks 2 to 4 but high, or 1 to 2 but low.
I think it's better than Berserker's Call.
Yeah.
Better than Boundless.
Similar
it's
to
literally somewhere up there.
Yeah.
It's at the top 5 right now.
It's almost better than Berserker's Blood though.
It's one of the best point target stuns for a single target.
It is just a stun though.
It's not, well, I don't know.
And
Sorry,
damage.
not one of the best. That's a bad use of words there.
No, it's true.
It's similar to a magic missile, so it's dodgeable, but it's still a good stun.
It's twice the
lot of
duration
damage.
In terms of Missile, Stormhammer, and Chaos Bolt, how do you rank those 3?
I'd say Stormhammer the best, and then I'd go Chaos Bolt, then Missile, maybe.
Really?
It's really close between Missile and Chaos Bolt.
Wow,
They're
Missile
very similar.
Shards though is just
Missile
Actually,
Shard makes it
yeah.
better.
But Chaos
That's
Bolt's
true.
max
Chaos Bolt's
stun
third.
is double that of Missiles.
Yeah.
And Missiles is flat is
And
not...
390 max damage is a lot of damage.
You can chunk. You can chunk.
Yeah, I'd still put it... I would put it above... I like putting it in the 1 to 2 column at the bottom.
It's almost better than Acorn.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is single target, though. We're almost... I mean, it only stuns one person no matter what.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
I feel like if you throw out a Chaos Bolt in a fight, you're getting off a second one, generally.
I guess, yeah. I like it there. I think Acorn's not that great.
Like, compared to
mind
these two abilities, which I think other people rate higher than us,
Yeah,
Chaos Bolt's better.
I like that, actually.
Next up, another Chaos. It's Chaos Meteor. This one is interesting.
You get it level 1.
You get a
It's
level
a
1.
50-second cooldown.
Yep.
200 mana.
Massive.
And a shitload of mana.
I've seen Joel cast a Meteor as a Spectre and have 73 mana going into the laning stage.
Yeah, you need this on an int hero, really, and like
You need some setup.
You need a setup
you
as
need
well.
something to make it good. It is a decent team fight ability. If you're doing an int casting build and you pick this up like 4th pick, you're pretty happy, really. Like,
Yeah,
it's
not
a
too
good
bad.
cooldown, big ability, but
I think
where
it's...
does it lie on the chart?
I think it's almost down in the situational column.
I think it's almost there too, but I think it's generally picks 2 to 4. It's
I think
rare
it
that
gets
it's
picked.
unpicked.
I think it's picked 2 to 4 almost always,
Yeah.
and then I just think it's like
Really low.
just lower pick tier because of how you need to be on a specific hero.
I think it's like there or there, personally.
Below Arcane Curse, I think.
Below Arcane Curse.
Yeah.
Like, if someone has a setup, though,
It's just 50-second cooldown. It's
I
basically
know.
an ultimate.
I know.
that is true. A lot of Invoker's abilities are kind of like that, actually.
Yeah, it's
so.
basically an ultimate spell.
And they got rid of the shard that made you do 3.
Yeah.
And when that was a thing, that was crazy.
that made it good,
That,
yeah.
that made it way better.
Now that's a talent, I think, right?
Yeah, it's a talent.
At level 20, too. That's how they know it was too good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, next up. This is probably one of the best right-click passives in the game. It's Chaos Strike.
Very, very good.
This is quite the powerhouse laning passive.
Sustain in lane. You can farm like crazy with this spell. Really, really good with illusion characters. They're all going to be critting.
Where does it stack up in comparison to Atrophy?
I'd
That's
say
really the big question.
it's behind Atrophy.
I think
Agreed.
it's a little. It's like the Arcane Supremacy for right clickers.
Yeah, it's generically good, right?
Yeah, it's
Generically
generically
good
for
right
right-clicking.
clicking passive. That's
Having lifesteal built into it is like
Very, very nice.
very quality. Very quality. I think it's probably I guess the debate again is it generally picks 1 to 2 or is it first pick / deny pick? And I think it's first pick /
I think it's in first pick.
I think it's in first pick.
Is it better than the Blinks? Maybe it goes right next to Arcane
I
Supremacy.
think it goes up beside Arcane Supremacy
above it.
on the above side, but that's up to like
I like
spell
that.
casting versus right clicking.
I like
that's
it.
the decision. You know, that's
Yeah.
I
the
think it's
distinction.
good on a non-illusion hero, and if you get illusions with it, it's even better. So
Yeah.
And it never makes it through the first round.
No.
yeah, I like it right there.
Yeah. Next up, Chaotic Offering.
Yeah.
This is quite the first pick alt. I
First
think.
picked on Warlock if you're playing him is whoa,
I swear 90% of the games,
that's crazy.
it's on a Warlock. Like, it's so funny how often a Warlock gets Chaotic Offering.
Yeah,
They just pick it.
Yeah, it's generally picks 1 and 2, I think. It's probably worse than some of the, like, I'd rather have Avalanche. I'd rather have Chaos Bolt,
really.
personally.
Some team fight though, like Chaotic Offering pushing tower is like
Yeah, that's
basically
true.
like this Shadow Shaman facet on a minion, right? You have a movable. Like last game we had, I just threw it down with my eggs and just put the golems on all the objectives and just put them on all the buildings and they never even contested and it just like
Yeah.
I think it's
CKB Piercing Stun.
it's so good.
I think it's up there pretty high. I think it's above Avalanche personally,
Really?
Yeah, I think it generally picks 1
or
to
close
2.
to it. I don't know. I could maybe be bartered down below Avalanche,
Because
but
the thing is like, for me, I'd rather have high tempo abilities with stuns that I can cast multiple times in a fight or initiate multiple times with a fight, rather than like one big alt. Because I feel like
Yeah.
if you fuck your
160
golem
CD.
initiation, you can really fuck the fight.
But then even then, you have at least
It's hard to fuck
on
it
the
up,
battlefield. Yeah,
That's
it's
true.
hard. And you have a minion on the battlefield that can run in a fight that has a rad, basically.
Yeah.
You know, a pseudo rad that's running around that can
Yeah.
run mid. Like it lasts. How long does it last?
60 seconds.
So you could literally drop it top, still run mid, and like get some tower damage mid, even if you dropped it top. Like,
Yeah.
you can move it, but
feeds them gold sometimes.
Feeds them gold
It's like a hero kill, right?
I don't know. I think it's a close to assassinate
Sean?
in terms of ranking.
You know what? I could throw it. I can throw it under Avalanche if I think that's fine. I think that's fine.
Right there.
It is only a 0.8 second stun.
Yeah.
It really not is. It's not much stun, but it just pierces magic immunity.
The thing is if you golem, right, and you stun someone, and then like a ranged core just goes, yat.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's like, okay,
It's dead.
that's it.
Yeah.
I just used my ultimate 160 second cooldown.
Yeah. Really, really long cooldown.
Yeah. Also, I mean, insane with eggs, but still.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Charge of Darkness. Pretty good ability.
Pretty good.
That is a global ability. Anything that has global potential.
If used right.
Is
We've seen people that pick it and just never use it.
never join a fight.
Never
Yeah.
join a fight.
Don't pick
essentially.
charge on the heroes that are not melee. That's my tip as well.
Or
Yeah, you want to be a melee strength. Usually.
Yeah. It's and, last time Bennett was on a Grimstroke with Charge of Darkness, I'm pretty sure he would
Yeah.
charge into his death about.
It's not great.
Like-
I think you really need. Well, you don't need, but having bash with this is really nice because you can actually hit multiple people with it as you're going through them.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Having invisibility is really good with it, as we discovered.
discovered.
Skeleton Walk, Charge of Darkness,
Yeah.
great pairing.
Yeah, it
And
can be
Scorched
nice.
Earth. He
Yeah.
had Scorched Earth during that too, so that was
Yeah.
a good movement speed.
It's it pairs with movement speed abilities, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's probably. I mean, it's generally picks 1 or 2, right? Like
Oh, I
people
don't
love
think it's,
charge.
but I don't think it's that high ranked.
I think it's 2 to 4.
I think it's 2 to 4, and it's like
Just because
We
it
don't
only
pick
stuns one character without the greater bash.
But even like when you die in lane and then you just charge
Charge
out to
the
lane,
creep.
you're like, that's cash.
It is nice. I would put it. I still think it's 2 to 4 though. I cannot put it above some
yeah,
of
I
these other spells.
have
Yeah.
to put it 2 to 4, and I think should probably live higher end, but I'm obligated to put it more mid range because I just don't.
I don't
value
mind
as
throwing
much.
it right behind Aether Remnant.
Yeah, I was thinking about near Chain Frost as well, Sean. I think it's a good 2.1 second stun either.
I don't
You can
know,
do
man.
under Chain Frost or above?
It's probably under Chain Frost in terms of
I
impact.
think it's under.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like,
yeah, I like
It's
it.
really good when you gank though, and you have like a follow up. Like
Yeah.
if you like charge in and then you hit up another stun or whatever, like that's usually enough to gank and kill. So
Yeah, I like it.
next up is probably one of the easiest picks. It's Chemical Rage. Chemi Rage is gotta be the top tier because it is literally the #1 win rate ability.
Yeah, it is the top tier. It literally gives everything you could imagine. Base attack time.
Better than attack speed.
Grievel's Greed.
Grievel's
Huh.
Greed is built
Gives
in.
you another ability that gives you basically 800 GPM if you're not a robot.
Yeah.
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 Makes you unkillable.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes you unkillable.
The
when you
health
click a
regen,
button.
move speed.
The fact that it's base attack time and not bonus attack speed too is like, why? Like you could, Sean,
Yeah.
you picked it on a witch doctor
Yeah.
and it still looked good.
Yeah,
Like,
it made it. Yeah, it's really, really, really good.
It turns
120
any model
health regen.
into
120.
yeah, any model turns into an attack
60 bonus
hero,
movement
Yeah.
speed.
attack carry. So
Yeah, that goes insta pick.
that's
Probably
the number one.
Number one.
That's number one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's #1.
Yeah, there's really
No
debate.
question.
Now this one's a little more tricky, I think. Chilling Touch. People
Big
love
The attack
Chilling
range.
Touch.
The attack range is crazy. 240 attack range bonus.
Definitely first picked on Ancient Apparition. Because the level 10 talent, 300 bonus attack range.
I think it's generally first picked in the first round by some ranged character.
Yeah.
Almost always. And if not, like, you get an attack modifier or something in
I
that.
think in general it's overrated though. Because I think it's pretty shit without
It
eggs.
is.
And I think it depletes your mana on some heroes that you're like, oh, I shouldn't have been attacking with Chilling Touch because now I can't use my escape spell or whatever, you know?
Death Rim stacks and kind of a new weird little thing.
Yeah, I don't know about if Death Rhyme even works.
It's
in
a
AD
weird,
or
yeah.
what. Like, I think it doesn't work in AD.
I don't think it does.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's generally picks 1 to 2.
Unless you're playing in AA.
I think
Unless you're
it's
paying
pretty
it.
low on 1 to 2.
Probably.
I think
Or
it's
mid.
low 1 to 2. Is it? I think it's better than Acorn Shot, almost, because like
Oh, it is
It's-
better.
late
Than,
game.
yeah, it's
late game, you have Ags. You come out with that, all of a sudden you go.
I think it's better
It's-
than Acorn.
Yeah,
So I think it's better than Acorn, but I don't know how much farther.
I think it's like there.
Yeah.
I think we just
I
do
like it
that.
just above Acorn.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, 99% of the time, I'd rather have Chaos Bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, this is another one of those situational bangers.
This is a hard one.
Chronosphere.
Because it depends on so much. Is Faceless on your team? Is he on the enemy team? If he's not in
Or
the
is
game,
he in the lobby?
yeah. If he's not in the game, it's an insane ability. If he's on the enemy team, it's obviously less. You know, it's not
Borderline
that,
griefing.
if he's on your team, it's insane, especially if he's playing a core position, because all of a sudden you have a support that can drop a huge AoE stun, where your core can now just walk in and hit and use his ult. You know,
Yeah.
like it's like what
yeah.
game winning.
Game winning.
Like
yeah.
game
It's close
winning.
to Black Hole.
It is
It
very
is
close.
very
yeah.
similar to Black Hole, except you can also grief your teammates in
Yes.
a way. So it kind
Harder
of
to hit.
It's worse than Black Hole in that way.
I'd
so
say.
I think it's, I don't think it gets first picked.
No.
It rarely ever do we see it get even like second picked. Really, like but.
Unless Faceless is on your team, right?
Yeah, but
Like,
and let's face it. But even then, when we had a Faceless on our team, it got third picked. Recently, the most recent game we had with it.
yeah. I mean, the potential of a Chronosphere, though, is at the same level of a Black Hole, so I think it deserves to be high and generally picks 2 to 4. It's
I
just
would-
2 to
like,
4.
I would do
Yeah.
generally picks. Yeah. Like
Better than
really
Chain
high
Frost.
generally picks. 2
I think
to
it's
4.
better than Chain Frost. Yeah.
Better than Aether Remnant.
Yeah.
I don't think you're first picking it,
Better than Berserker's Call.
but I think you might second pick it.
I think it's like near Juju. Like, what side of Juju?
I think it's bet. I think it's.
I think it's below
Its raw power level is
it
higher.
is raw power level late game.
But if Faceless is on the enemy team, so much worse. So for that reason, it like I feel like it can't be the highest 2 to 4. You know
I
what I
agree,
mean?
yeah.
Because you can't pick it every game 2 to 4 and just be like, yeah, we're gonna win because they might have Faceless on their team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Faceless.
it's really annoying.
Yeah.
The fact that it works like that is really kind
Yeah.
of stupid. And
The AD quirks.
yeah, it's like if you buy a refresher orb, you're basically laughing late game team fight. So
Yeah.
next up, Cinder Brew. Situationally
Yeah.
reasonable.
Situational.
It's
just
situational, yeah. You gotta pair it with another spell.
Yeah, like if you have some spell damage, or if you have Drunken Brawler,
Drunken
like
Brawler,
if you get brewed up, you're like,
trying to
okay,
get brewed up, yeah.
it's alright.
But doing that in AD is really not gonna happen, probably.
No.
Nah.
But
I feel like most of the time, it's almost unpicked.
Yep.
Like, I think it's
is.
like really low on situationally reasonable.
I'd say it's like similar to an Arcane Bolt,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
just above Blinding Light.
Yeah. It's like a slow,
Yeah,
mostly.
decent slow.
Next up is one that used to be like the
Used
cream
to
of
be
the
the
cream.
of the crop and has dropped
Yeah.
so hard. Cloak and Dagger.
Cloak and Dagger. When Sleep Dart was a thing, it was broken,
Yeah.
right?
Because
Like,
you just get it,
just
you
for
get
the
your
sleep
shard,
dart,
you
yeah.
get Sleep Dart, and you
Yeah.
just put people to sleep.
out of invis too. You
Yeah.
shoot it out of invis. Broken as fuck. No
Now we-
longer though.
Now we seeing sometimes recently it went
Late-
2 rounds.
Yeah,
so it went
like-
through full 2 rounds without being picked.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy because
Yeah.
it is good. It is permanent invis on a fade delay.
I think also the higher up in rank you go, the worse it gets. Like
Because it's people, vision,
Yeah,
they're
like,
better at it.
better
detection.
vision, better at having dust
Yeah.
early, better at having like wards with sentries next to them.
But you hate playing against it because you know you're playing a vision game where you're like,
Yes.
we have to carry sentries,
It's
we
like-
have to carry dust, like we have to pay attention to that.
When you buy a gem at 18 minutes, Cloak and Dagger is probably one of the main culprits. Like when you get an early
Yeah.
gem, it's just like, all right, I'm sick of this bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably generally picks 2 to 4, but that's crazy that it's generally.
It could
picks
be
2
the
to 4.
highest generally picks 2 to 4.
Really?
Well, does it
No.
ever make it through the 3rd round? No way are every hero picking their 3rd ability and no one picks Cloak and Dagger? Like, no way.
If there are nothing but banger ass teamfight alts, it will go.
I don't know. When was the last time we've seen Cloak and Dagger get to the 4th round?
I think
Have you ever seen
players
that?
just like to be annoying and invisible.
That's so true.
but the overall impact is not that insane.
Yeah. I think it's worse than Chain Frost, personally.
I think it's just below Chain Frost.
Yeah, I'm happy with putting it there. Yeah,
Is reasonable.
it used to be first pick.
Yeah. This is a classic Joel ability right here. Cold Embrace.
It's an interesting ability for sure. Good heal in a lane provides so much sustain. 1 value point in that. Even just getting a 2nd value point because you're getting harassed or whatever. Throw it on your carry if you're playing +5.
Yeah.
They're full HP from half. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
they're back to last hitting. Like, it's a good ability. Also, if you have Winter's Curse, it's a great counter to just take it from the enemy team. Vice versa, good saves in certain scenarios. But it is just a heal, and it does stop your teammate from moving.
It can grief. Yeah.
So for that, it's generally picks 2 to 4. It's probably a good, solid 3rd round pick for someone that, especially if they picked Winter's Curse.
Yeah, if you're counter-picking Winter's Curse, it goes up.
Yeah, so I think it's better than Bulwark as a passive. Oh, I don't know. Actually, I feel like it might be near Arena. Like, it could be like that kind of area, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, compared to Astral Imprisonment, what do you value more?
This could heal you, level 1,
the
it's so much
percent-based
better.
scaling, too, is crazy.
It's a lot.
Yeah. You get a lot of heal
And there's a lot of people in ability draft trying to pick right-click passives and just be pure right-click.
That is true.
So it can be very strong.
If someone comes out of a team fight at like a 1/4 HP, they walk into the backline and you throw this on it, and then all of a sudden they're turned around and they're like 3/4 HP running back into the fight, you're like, yeah, this ability is amazing. It just healed my teammate over like basically half their health.
Yeah.
And they're now like able to not run back to base and they can sit in lane.
Think it's like there then, maybe?
I like that. I like it above...
That's good. Yeah.
Above Astral?
I like it above Astral.
Well, Astral has the shard, though, right? Like
the shard makes it good, but you're going to have to buy the shard to make it good, though.
It's the
Cold Embrace
floor
is
ceiling
good with them.
argument.
Yeah,
again, right?
it is.
Yeah.
It really
Astral, like, I almost would argue Astral in scenarios some could go up. Like, is Astral better than Battle Trance?
In some games.
In some games, like, yeah, Astral
Yeah.
should move, but is it better than Battery Assault? No. So it's like, it would move up 4 spots, maybe. But then, like...
I think it's fine.
I think it's fine,
I think you do that, though. Like, I'd rather you pick Astral in most games. Because when you Cold Embrace me and then I get Sunstriked or whatever, like, when the spells...
untouchable to damage inside the Astral.
Like, the spells absolutely bomb me, and I'm sitting there Cold Embrace not healing out of it. It's like, okay, well, this sucks.
Chakram feels like it's out of place then, being beside those two.
Well, you think it's...
Is Chakram lower?
You think it's lower?
I think Astral goes up. I think you're right.
Just move Astral up.
Like there.
Yeah, I think Astral...
Astral needs to be
I think
pushed up
Astral was a little bit higher. I agree with that. I think if we were sandbagging a little bit
I
on
think it
Astral,
got
especially
pushed
the
down on the list. Yeah.
Do we put this...
Above Breathe Fire and Bulwark? That's the question.
Sean, what do you think?
I like it just below Breathe Fire.
Yeah, I think it can sit there. That's fine.
That's decent.
Yeah, I mean, Breathe Fire is kind of the same thing where these will help you win the lanes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Next up, Cold Feet. This one goes late a lot of the time.
Unless you have a pre-set up stun,
setup.
Yeah.
It's not that good.
Or you Ice Blast.
Ice Blast with the shard is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. I like Cold Feet a lot, but I feel like Cold Feet is usually kind of bad.
It's kind of similar to a Bushwhack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like if you have a stun or 2 stuns and you pick this up 3rd round with 2 stuns, it's probably like mid-tier. But just out of an ability, it's probably
I think it's better than Bushwhack.
Just better than Bushwhack.
Well, if you have like something that roots or something that
it's
just holds
easy,
them in place.
It's pretty easy to get something done.
Like even if you have cogs or something, right? Like it's like you're trapping them in cogs with Cold Feet, they're panicking, blah blah blah. That type of deal.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And it has the upside of the shard, which Bushwhack does not.
Yeah.
Next up,
Cold Snap
Feet.
AD.
Cold Snap. Yeah. Cold Snap's actually, I feel like it's
pretty good.
It's pretty
AD
high
version,
value.
Yeah, it's decent, especially on...
I'd argue it's like the second best Invoker spell you can get in AD.
Really?
Besides Sunstrike.
Just behind Sunstrike, yeah.
Wow.
I think it's better than Alacrity.
You know, like
That's
radio.
surprising.
That's
Actually, you know what?
EMP is better.
Actually, I forgot about
EMP.
EMP. Sorry, EMP has to be there.
shard.
Yeah.
Cold. Nah.
Yeah.
Generally picks 2 to 4.
100%.
2 to 4.
But where?
I think lower.
Worse than alacrity, then we're saying.
It's close.
It's a stun. It can be good, but it can also
if you
just not.
like, if you have a dot though, like if you have like Celestial Hammer or like some damage over time, and you can combo your own spells with Cold Snap, it's really good.
Yeah. 18-second cooldown.
I just feel like most of the time you use it and then that's it in a fight, and you don't get a second one off.
Yeah.
You know.
Usually.
So I think it's probably around Arcane Curse-ish area, like where we just were.
I think it's better than a bushwhack, though. Has to be.
Okay.
I think it does have to be better than
I think it's
Bushwhack.
better. Almost.
I think it's better than the passives almost, like because it is a guaranteed stun. It's near Bulldoze Arena for me. Maybe less than Arena. I'd prefer an Arena over a Cold Snap, but it isn't all.
It's true. Sean, what are you saying?
I could put a cold snap. I think at most for me a cold snap right by Celestial Hammer and Blur
Oh, okay.
at max.
Yeah. It isn't that good. It isn't that good.
So
It's
yeah,
alright,
I
I'm
think
lying. I was like, where's Blur?
I think they're at most.
Okay, yeah. Next up, this is, like we said earlier, Skyrat's best ability, which is Concussive Shot. It's mostly good because it's a slow,
Level
with a
1,
huge
40%
range.
slow. Yeah.
Really annoying.
Yeah, you put one level
You put
on
one
this
level
and you
on this.
get basically like
Everything.
most of the effects.
Yeah.
What, 3-second cooldown for leveling at 3 more levels? That's
Yeah.
it.
You don't really want to max this early. You're probably going to be maxing one of your other spells.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get one level, and you maybe level 1 of this.
Yeah, it's, again, like you said, the Incidental Eggs build, Joel, where you just, like, tack on a Concussive Shot hitting 2 targets.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's pretty value. So I think it's, like, mid 2 to 4, generally.
Above a Celestial Hammer.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
I think it's
near
close to,
Brain
like...
Zap.
You're like close
I think
to
it's
Brain
close
Sap.
to, like,
Yeah.
Brain Sap, Astral, Bramble. Probably worse than these.
Yes, I think those are, like, more, like, second picks. Where
Just
this
behind
is like a
Battery
third
Assault?
pick. Yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be mad at that. Yeah.
yeah. Next up, Sean, you play with this more than
Conjure
anyone.
Image.
Yeah, where is this? 'Cause
Conjure
this
Image is like a...
griefing.
I mean, it's kind of a snore fest of an ability.
It is.
So,
It
it can be kind of broken, though.
It can really amp up your farming speed.
Yeah.
Quite
Also,
heavily.
it's like the most annoying late game illusions to kill in the game.
Oh.
When
yeah.
you're like, oh, we can't kill the Conjure Image Snapfire illusion. Like, I just don't have any abilities to do that, and I'm a pause 5. It's gonna kill me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Joel and I have both been in that situation where we're like, Sean, we need you to help us kill this illusion that's running down a lane. Which is kind of a testament to how well it scales.
Yeah, it's quite good. I'd say it's one of the better illusion abilities that is in the game. So I'd probably throw it... You're not going to pick this first or second pick.
No.
So it's got to go down into the 2 to 4s.
Yeah.
Um,
It's gotta be mid. I mean, I've seen a 4th pick so much, though. Like,
Yeah.
it's really...
And you almost have to deny pick it if someone has like mana burn on a ranged hero
Yeah.
with something, and you're like, yeah, we don't want them to have mana burn Conjure Image on an Invoker or something.
Yeah.
I think it's near Blade Dance, maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Very narrow, but, like, situationally can go dirt.
Yeah, just below
Like, if
Blade
you
Dance.
meta,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who'd have thought Terrorblade's abilities synergize? But,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. If you have Blade Dance Conjure Image, there's
There
a
you
good
go.
combination.
Yeah. Next up, I love this ability. I'm high on this ability. Corrosive Haze.
Yeah.
It is... It's like definition of amp, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The True Sight as well. This is another bonus.
Yeah.
20 armor reduction at max.
Yeah.
5-second cooldown.
18
And it
second
lasts
duration.
18 seconds, yeah. Basically
Like-
costs no mana, 25 mana.
Nothing.
If you have one of those, like, right-click passives that just... You know, and there's no really amazing alts left. Like, usually Corrosive Haze is pretty late. You get this, and all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to get this late.
It's like over 3 times presence of the Dark Lord.
Pretty close,
Over 3
yeah.
times, right? So
I mean,
Pierces debuff immunity.
yeah, it's obviously
8 at max range.
the fact that it is an alt does make it worse.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely.
But I
Screws
think
over
it's,
Invis heroes.
yeah,
Really helps with that aspect.
I would say it's better than like Bulwark personally or Breathe Fire. Like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think it's in like the mid to upper range. I don't know about Brain Sap and all
Near
that.
Riki Invis.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like almost there for me. I think for me it's a little bit less, probably a little bit low below Brain Sap Bramble Maze.
But you don't play with
yeah,
Corrosive
but
Haze.
I'm not playing with Corrosive Haze, and it's never been too much of a problem either.
I like it just below the Riki Invis.
Yeah,
It's one of those abilities though where when I get it put on me, I'm like, oh, I'm buying Lotus Orb. Like I'm like, I want to
have to dispel it.
Like I want this off of my hero right now.
Yeah.
Or like
But then it gets
Yules.
reapplied 5 seconds later.
Which is why it's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
If the person is smart and prioritizing it,
Yeah.
which in our MMR usually does happen, it's up there. Next up, Corrosive Skin. God, I hate this ability.
Yeah, it's kind of a bait
A little bit of magic resistance. Hey, let's give them attack slow. A little bit of damage per second.
If you are in a strength hero though, you're really going to be a lot tougher to bring down.
Oh yeah, on a centaur, tusk, something like that. That's like a good thing to chew through. Corrosive Skin helps a lot.
Yeah.
Helps a lot.
The only thing though is that you lane against it, you're like, this is annoying, and then for the rest of the game you can basically ignore it. Like
you just kill him. You just go and kill him, and you're like, I took a little bit of damage.
And the other thing too is like most of the time Nether Strike's in the lobby because Corrosive Skin's in the lobby, or sorry, Viper Strike, and you Viper Strike the person who picked Corrosive Skin. That's what I did recently.
Yeah, just counters them.
You just break them and you counter them, and it's like, okay, your pick is shit.
Yeah.
So even though people love it and they first pick it constantly in our games,
we
normally don't do that.
It's like a worse dispersion and Enchantress's ult like combined.
Yeah.
It's like it's a untouchable mixed with dispersion, but worse. The Ags does obviously make it better. In like the perfect world where you get Corrosive Skin, Rot, and like dispersion or something, and you run around with 2 bracers and a blade mail and you never die, and they try to go on you and you just like reflect all the damage and kill them. It's like, this is crazy.
You have like Borrowed Time or Reincarn. It's just like
not on a strength hero, not that good, but still almost always like second round pick.
It's got to be generally first or second.
Yeah.
Even though we shit on it,
similar
it's
to
strong.
Berserker's Blood.
It's got to be near Berserker. Yeah, worst.
I think it's
above.
Maybe I think it's above. I think it's near the worst end of it, but it is above. Yeah.
I think if you're listening to this and you're new, don't first pick it on Witch Doctor, please. Thank you. Spare us, please.
Yes.
We'll get to reactive armor too, but that's another one. Yeah.
Corrosive weaponry is next.
Ooh, corrosive weaponry.
Someone unpicked.
Not really.
Someone unpicked.
One of the worst passive attack modifiers.
Yep, agreed. I think it's probably in the situationally reasonable or unpicked range.
Yeah. Situationally reasonable, probably mid tier.
Yeah, it's almost lower.
But
I like it down pretty low. I'm not really.
I think it's near like Arcane Aura.
throw her there and call it a day.
If you're playing a regular alchemist, you're not gonna put any levels in this ability until your other 2 abilities are basically max.
That's true.
Yeah. It's just not a great spell.
Yeah. Next up, this is another one of those kind of noob bait picks. It's Counter Helix. And this is a good ability. I won't deny it. Like, having pure damage spins on your creep waves, and you can go farm jungle and be happy, and it works on illusions, or does it work on illusions? Yeah. So, it's good. It's just like... Oh, also it's baseline set number of attacks. I forgot about that. I thought it was still chance.
Yeah.
But, I mean, people love to first pick it, but...
It's pure damage.
It's really not amazing.
It's nothing.
It's if you have call, it's like 10 times better.
Yeah.
So obviously pairing those two, and then if you don't get call, countered pretty easily just by not being attacked by the enemy team.
If you're against melee heroes, its value goes up. If you're against ranged heroes, you're basically griefing your team almost. So.
Yeah, especially if you don't have call. So I think it's kind of generally picked 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Like it generally is picked 1 to 2.
It's next to Berserker's Blood and Corrosive.
But it's bad 1 to 2.
Yeah, it is. Alright, it's good. I mean, it's it's got to be like there.
It is picked generally 1 to 2,
there.
but it's not
I think
one of
it's-
the better ones for sure.
I think it's below. Yeah, I like it just below Corrosive Skin.
Yeah.
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 Next up, Counterspell.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Very underwhelming.
they made it even worse than it already was, and it was already kind of bad.
Yeah, it's
Big uptime.
It is. And the magic resist can be effective, like with Rot and then...
It really
yada,
only
yada.
is good at level 4 though.
the fact that it doesn't reflect the spell back anymore. It just blocks it.
Yeah.
It really hurts the value of the spell. It used to be way better.
Reflecting a Finger of Death,
Yeah.
the dopamine hit of that one is
That's
no longer, so...
It's basically just 45% magic resist, and you're able to reflect.
I think it's close to Bristleback, or it's like you pair it with a tank hero like Pudge that has Rot, or like a Centaur, and you're like, this is just annoying as fuck because we have 4 int heroes, and like Sean's on a hero that can't scale.
Yeah.
We've definitely lost to people with counterspell magic resist. So.
Yeah. If the enemy team goes too heavy into the magic and the spells, then you get this. You're going to be hard to kill.
Next up, this is another one of those like noob bait picks.
Yeah.
It's Coupe de Grace.
Goes hard with some like attack modifying, especially maybe some passives or like enchant totem, some crazy boundless strike crit chance things.
Yeah. Also, great shard. Sean loves the
shard
fan
is
of
really
knives.
good, yeah.
Good break.
Yep.
I think
Max
Coupe-
percent health.
Coupe's kind of like one of those abilities where you're like third, second picking it after you already got your passive on a character, on a carry.
Yeah.
Because I think if you first pick it, it's a mistake most of the time.
It's usually it's not that insane if you first pick it, because you're not going to get a really good ability that synergizes with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really close though. I'd say it's in picks 1 to 2.
Even still, eh?
Almost still,
Yeah.
just because of the shard too.
Yeah. It's got to be better than Acorn.
Yeah, I think
Right?
it's better than Acorn. So that's like one of the
Like chilling touch is an attack modifying
borderline
type of
better
thing.
than Chilling Touch, but
I think I like Chilling Touch better.
you get Coop on a ranged character, it's quite good.
That's true.
That is true.
Alright, fine.
Well, actually,
Well, the thing is, though, you get Coop sometimes.
the shard's only good on a melee
Yeah,
character.
and you're like, oh, I have Coop. Oh, I'm just dead to spells.
Yeah.
So, it's like you're using an alt slot.
You're using an alt slot to just having that extra physical damage.
Extra scaling, yeah. So, I think
I
that's
still like it
reasonable.
there. I like
Yeah.
it up there still.
Next up, this is one that has really increased in our radars, I think. It's Crippling Fear. Now, this ability used to be like pretty shit. And then
Yeah.
they went, okay, we'll give it damage now. So now it's dealing tick damage, and we'll give it an Ags.
And we'll give it tick damage that ticks like no other. So if
Yeah.
you get
Sticky
napalm and you have 2 stacks and use it on someone, they're dead.
Yeah,
It's pretty wild.
which is like, I don't know. The last couple times I've picked Crippling Fear, I've been like, holy crap.
You get on top of someone, you
Yeah.
silence, they can't run away, especially during night.
Yeah, like, especially when you get eggs, too, you will kill whoever you're on.
Yeah.
It's
Persistent silence.
Yeah.
They cannot escape.
obviously really, really, really bad on a ranged hero, once again.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty mid to high on generally picks 2 to 4, which is weird, because in the past you would have said it's like basically unpicked or actively bad.
Yeah. I don't mind throwing it in just close to battery assault.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
mind
similar. It's like situational, like battery assault, right?
Like it could be worse in some scenarios and it could be better in some, but
I think
maybe
it's
generally
normally
worse in some, but
The eggs makes it scaled though.
I think it's normally better, honestly, because usually there's some good stuff on the enemy team you want to silence.
Yeah,
there we go.
and the tick damage is like just bonus.
Yeah, the damage is decent too.
Next up is Crypt Swarm.
Just a pure damage sheet of what are the bats?
Yep.
Yeah.
Winged beasts, Joel. Come on. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there we go.
It says winged beasts.
That's
so.
so funny.
To savage enemy units.
Yeah.
Really low cooldown.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good mid.
Yeah.
Securing last hits, things
Yeah.
like this. It's good in lane.
Farming. Yeah.
Farming, yeah.
But it is just a wave clear. You're not doing much with this besides a little damage,
Falls
especially late game.
off a
You're doing
cliff.
literally nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it's like if you're on a Death Prophet, you're thinking about it more than normal too because you have the cooldown talent. I don't know. It's probably situationally reasonable more than
Really?
anything.
Well, we have Breathe Fire in the 2 to 4 pretty high.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, Breathe Fire is attack damage reduction.
Yeah.
Kind of scales a bit more. Like,
It's a longer cooldown.
longer
though.
CD, yeah. Maybe it is like, I guess.
We could have
around
Breathe
there.
Fire too highly rated. We could adjust that.
I don't know. I feel like Crypt Swarm isn't that good of an ability. Besides it, just doing damage, no slow, nothing, pure just damage, cast range. Literally
Yeah.
the only two things
It's not
it
a
says.
flashy ability. It just...
Does have a low cooldown.
It's always like a third or fourth pick.
Yeah.
Every game.
So I think that means it's like kind of near Arena Blood area,
I would consider it
but
like this area.
yeah, I'm down with that. It's pretty bad.
Above Blink Strike.
Yeah.
Maybe above Blink Strike in some builds. Well, Blink Strike's actually pretty good.
But it doesn't do much.
It's pretty good.
It's just mobility.
Yeah, it's mobility.
Damage.
Crypt Swarm has no mobility. All these things have no mobility, basically, but Blink Strike has
Yeah, but
mobility.
Blink Strike
It is
just
an
mobility.
Yeah.
And you have to point target it.
Yes.
I
But
think,
you can target friendly units.
Yes, you can.
I think the
Okay.
thing with Crypt Swarm though is like if most of the time you have it, you take it mid.
Yeah.
You get it to level 2 or 3, and you just go, and you just
Farm.
one shot
Yeah.
the creep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All
Next
right.
up, this is a Joel ability for sure.
Crystal Nova.
Crystal Nova. I think it's got to be around picks 2 to 4. I don't know why I picked it up immediately.
It's nothing your first or second picking. It's something on a support you pick as like a follow up. It's decent magic damage in an AoE with movement slow. The
Low
attack slow's
cooldown.
nice. Yeah, lower cooldown. If you're a CM that has spam, like you're a spammer, this is a good ability. Comparable
Chakra
to like
magic.
Lich's
Soccer magic, yeah.
Yeah.
Really insane. with
Yeah.
this
Banger
specifically,
combo, yeah.
but it is kind of just like a frost blast type of AoE slowing.
It's better than Frost Blast.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's probably it's definitely better than frost. It's huge AoE, 700.
Yeah.
Or 425
range.
radius. Yeah.
What is the
it's pretty
catch rate?
good.
425. Yeah.
It's basically the attack slow too. Is like you think it's not relevant, and then the person starts trying to hit you after you hit them with it in lane when you're trading, and you're like, oh wait, I win the trade now.
Yeah.
Like,
It's pretty strong.
so yeah, I think it's like it's probably close to like Crypt Swarm, or sorry, not Crypt Swarm, Brain Sap.
Yeah,
I was
gonna
gonna
be
put
in our
it. I
strong
was gonna
laning
put it
spells.
like over
Yeah.
here somewhere. I'm happy to go a little higher because it is.
I'd say it's close to Brain Sap, right? I'd say it's better than Bramble.
Really? I don't
Really?
think so.
I don't
I
think
think
it's better than Bramble. There's
Bramble.
no stun. It does have a slow and it's a little damage, but
Really?
unless you max it,
I guess, yeah.
You're not
Compared
getting
to
that much
concussive
That would
shot,
be too high, yeah, I guess.
Like,
yeah.
50% at max, but only 20 at min. You know, it's like you really have to put levels into this to make it.
and look at how the mana cost goes up to 175.
It is pretty
Like
heavily
if Joel's
costed.
playing a Night Stalker support, which he's done plenty of
poorly, yeah.
times, you can't pick Crystal Nova.
no,
Yeah,
no.
it is
Doesn't
down there,
matter if it's
actually.
8-second cooldown. You don't have the mana.
Yeah. Next up is a ability that's kind of fallen off as well. Culling Blade. You know, we've shit on Bennett a couple times, but Bennett made this look good in the one game that we
Yeah,
played.
yeah.
He had 4 KSs
It
in the
does,
one
yeah.
team fight.
It's good for finishing off kills.
Pure damage.
Pure damage. The
If
move
you're-
speed's kind of nice,
Yeah.
but it's not really anything crazy.
If you miss the kill with it though, you're like, this is now useless.
Yeah, you just,
Yeah.
it's a bad whiff if you do that.
It goes unpicked a decent amount.
It does. It's not anything to write home about. Generally 2 to 4, probably
I think it's almost situationally reasonable.
It's techie.
The armor bonus.
after
kind
you
of
get a
weird
kill.
thing, yeah.
You are very you basically have call armor after you get a kill for
You can really
6
snowball
seconds.
the fight for your team if you get an early Culling Blade kill.
Yeah.
But even then, I think
You have
it's
to
like
be the
it's
cast
still-
range is so
it's like
dog.
a shock rom kind of type of deal where it's just like not that impactful
Yeah.
during the fight, and it's just like a closing move. But it does help you scale. The fact that now it doesn't give you permanent
Yeah.
armor
No
anymore,
permanent
like, that's
armor is
acts
so
as,
bad.
innate.
Yeah.
It's way worse.
I think it's in this vicinity next to Battle Hunger, literally.
Really?
I'd
Yeah.
put it up a
You
little
think
bit.
it's further?
Sean, what do you think? You'd be the deciding factor.
I think it's got to be
Is it in this tier?
I think it's in that tier. It's pretty low pick rate for sure.
Is it better than Arcane Seal, Counterspell?
No, I think it's too techy. I think it's below those. I like it there actually.
Next to the other shitty axe abilities.
It's too hard to get the value.
Two left until we take a break.
Yeah, we're gonna have to come back and do one other session.
So this is one that used to be nuts. Used to be insane first pick, and now it's okay. Curse of Avernus.
It's like a core range tier or something. If you pick this up in 4th, you'd be happy because if there's nothing else left. But like picking it first or second pick, you're kind of baited.
You're baiting.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really first pickable anymore. And it used to be. When it was like the 4 attacks and then it triggers.
Jingu, yeah.
I think it's probably... It's still good. Like, it's generally picks 2 to 4, sorry. But I think it's like high in there. Like...
As far as right-click passives go, like, it's... Is it better
Similar
than Blade Dance? Yes. It's better than Blade Dance, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially just because it also does give a DPS.
Quite a bit more.
And attack speed, the slow. Is it better than, like...
Better than Blood Rage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's higher, I think.
But, like, I think it's, like, somewhere around here.
I think it's around here as well. I think it's...
For all the audio listeners, we're just pointing at the screen.
We're pointing at... we're pointing at
everyone.
Where charges, yeah.
Brain sap area, yeah, like... I don't think it's that high, but it...
I think you can put it next to charge. Or corrosive.
Behind charge?
I'd put it behind...
I like it above charge, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Put it above charge, yeah.
It's not a terrible passive.
It isn't... It's a good right-click passive, especially on a ranged hero.
So
it's meant for being a melee. So
yeah.
Get on a ranged hero.
The last one for this session is Curse Crown. And this is... I mean, we talked about this a little bit with Brambles already. It's basically shitty. Unless you pair it with Brambles and get a shard.
You get the shard.
Like, it deals no damage. That's the thing. It's like, sure, it stuns them. But, like...
4-second delay.
Unless you max it, you're not getting 2 off in a fight. And at that point, you're maxing an ability that does no damage and only increases a stun by, like, 0.4 seconds every level. So you're really not doing much. Essentially, you draft Brambles and you hope you get this 4th pick on a wheel that they don't pick it. And you happen to be able to scoop this up, and then you get your shard, and you're kind of happy.
The only question is it in situationally reasonable, or is it in unpicked actively bad?
I think it's better.
It has to be in situation. I think it's too low.
You think so? Does it do more than the Bushwhack?
I think it's near the
No.
Bushwhack. No,
it's in situationally reasonable. I think it's like there.
Like higher situation.
Yeah.
I don't think as far as 4th picks go, I would pick it a lot higher than some of the others in the situation unreasonable.
I think it's worse than Ancient
Seal.
Seal. Ancient Seal's like a...
Maybe Ancient Seal's low rated, Sean. You ever think of that?
Maybe Ancient Seal needs to be the
too
highest
low. It is too low.
I think it's the highest situationally reasonable spell we have right there. If you're just like looking at all those and you have to quickly pick one at the end of the game, you're like, yeah, I'll pick Ancient Seal.
I've totally picked Ancient Seal over Cold Feet plenty of times though.
Yeah. But
there's our Cold Feet.
Picks 2-4.
Just really deep.
I don't know. I'm high on Ancient Seal. Like the silences are so
I think we can maybe bump it up
with the eggs. Let's bump Ancient Seal up.
Way up.
No way.
Not that far. No.
I think it's worse than Alacrity.
It's not over Alacrity.
No.
I like it. Yeah, that's as far as we
so
can
let's
go.
Put acid. Do we put Acid Spray down in situation?
Acid Spray could maybe get knocked down.
All right,
because it was so early on in the list. I think it was slightly inflated.
Knock it to the top of a situationally because
Well, it's still good to farm. Like Sean gets a 4th pick on carries all the time. Like
we can revisit if you want us to revisit.
Drop a comment.
Yeah. All right. Let's see how much more of how much.
Oh, there's a lot of more. Oh, Sean.
Oh yeah, just a couple hours, This
will be like a 5-part series.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 5-part series.
We got a good amount.
We'll have to do a couple.
Yeah, do it installments.
I don't see anything immediately this session that I hate or think is like disgraceful. I think it's pretty reasonable. It is hard to distinguish lines like the very bottom of generally picks and the top of.
Yeah,
like I feel like Astral Spirit is like a little lower. honestly,
should be
than
lower?
it should be. I think it should be
higher.
lower. Should be
I
lower.
think it gets close to these fucking passives.
Yeah. It is close, but then like Chronosphere is almost as good as those, better than those passes. In certain games, obviously.
Yeah, but, you know.
I think we could really nitpick at a lot of these abilities.
We just go with the initial impression.
But I think it's
But I like our like where we're at here.
No, the curve is really good. I think our curve is really good right now.
Yeah.
That was A to C. Thanks for listening. If you are listening, thanks for watching.
We'll see you boys in AD.
Drop your username in the comments.
Yeah, just drop your clan tag in the comments. We'll let you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, signing off.
HWP.
HWP, homies who play. Yeah.
Boys
Yeah.
out.